Hiss. Standing right at the front of the crowd since the beginning, a middle-aged man couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air upon looking in the direction of C-12 area. Though several beast masters had gone in for testing in the C-12 area just moments ago, for some reason the image of the young man who had asked him a question earlier sprang to mind. It couldn't be him, could it? Old you recognize this sudden entry big shot. A hand tapped on the man's shoulder from behind. The man turned around, a small smile on his face. Old Joe, you're here too. Yeah, just happened to catch this interesting show. The bald man known as Old Joe nodded. Your expression just now was quite unusual, like you recognize this Starfer Foster. Goodness, this fake name is really ridiculous. I have a guess, but I'm not sure if it's him. Old you shook his head. It could also be someone else. No matter, let's go take a look. Old Joe pointed at the crowd heading towards C-12 area. That beast master must still be in the C-12 area. We'll know who it is once they come out. Let's not rush. Old you held back Old Joe and glanced again at the leaderboard. His voice paused. If it's the person I'm thinking of, there might be more changes to the leaderboard. Those three pet beasts of that youngster, they all look strong. Meow, now it's my turn. Xian, standing at the center of the testing area, glanced at the energy body opponents that had gathered around it, a sharp intent to battle shining in its eyes. The next moment, dazzling electric light erupted from around it. Boom! Accompanied by the majestic power of thunder surging in Xian's body, as if from nothingness, a low rumbling sound of thunder could be faintly heard. The formidable power lying below Xian's skin was fully activated at that moment, making its seemingly delicate body emanate heart-stopping energy fluctuations. After such a long period of training, absorption of resources, and upgrading, Xian's growth stage progress had already exceeded 250,000, nearing perfection in the leader stage. Even Star and Can were far behind it for now. As the first pet beast contracted by Su Ran and the team's principal damage dealer, it had been a while since Xian had a proper battle. But now, after continuous power-ups, it finally had the chance to unleash its full potential. The blue-purple lightning quietly dyed a layer of scarlet light. Even the fur on Xian's body also faintly shone scarlet. Its odd-colored pupils were dyed a similar scarlet at that moment. The sharp intent to do battle surged upward with each surge of its strength, slicing skywards. 3-star skill, waning moon-level scarlet battle intent. Crackle! Accompanied by a sharp sound of air being pierced through by an electric arc, Xian's figure vanished in an instant, leaving behind only a lingering image made of thunder. Its body instantly appeared before the mass of energy body opponents. The long-latent power within its tense body exploded forth like a torrential flood bursting forth from the quiet. A claw swung forward, created waves in the air, as if a massive rock had caused a whirlwind. 3-star skill, full moon-level fighting body. As the claw descended, its form changed subtly. The bared claws shone with a cold, metallic sheen and appeared larger and more powerful. Frightening power gathered around Xian's claws and let loose heart-shaking fluctuations. 3-star skill, waning moon-level martial arts specialization. Under the gaze of Su Ran, Star, and Can behind it, Xian surged upwards, its peak strength descending in a whoosh. A moment of silence followed, then terrifying lightning exploded forth, trailing behind it a power like the onset of destruction. The lightning was like countless shattered blades. The pet beast that took the hit was instantly ground to dust, and the residual power surged forth in all directions, shattering hundreds of energy body opponents around them. 3-star skill, full moon-level destruction thunder claw. Sure, so frightening. Can, who had been beaten by Xian often, she couldn't help but shrink back, revealing a timid expression on its face. If this claw lands on it, it doesn't know if it could handle it. Dilute Tilda, Big Sis is so powerful. In Star's eyes, a light of admiration could be seen. On the other hand, Su Ran wore a gratified smile on his face. Without realizing it, Xian had grown from a starving stray cat to such powerful being. After striking once, Xian quickly retreated while its aura uncontrollably declined. The unseen fighting force rapidly converged into its body like it was temporarily sealed and couldn't be used. The energy bodies in the field gradually dissipated. After a moment's silence, the results of Xian's test appeared. Combat power, 51,228. Meow Tilda, just a little short. Looking at its test results, Xian helplessly shook its head. This combat power was very close to the 9 Shadow Demon Cat's. When superfast self-healing upgrades to 3 stars, together with fighting body, scarlet battle intent, and martial arts specialization, it would push its strength to a new peak. It would definitely be first. It's already quite good. Suran came forward with a smile and patted Xian's head. Your combat power is even higher than the third one on the current leaderboard. Let's go, we should get out of here. That beast master with the fake name, Starfear Foster Care Shop, still hasn't come out. Chapter 294, 181. Xian breaking into the historical rankings. Don't know, it should be soon. Let's wait a bit more. Come to think of it, I just heard that the beast master looks quite young, maybe just in his 20s. Fake news, right? A 20-something beast master parachuting in and beating the 18th ranked Shang Xin. I also feel it's fake. I heard Shang Xin has already been notified. There's going to be a good show. Outside the C12 test site, the spectators waiting for the mysterious beast master inside the site are starting to gossip. However, they didn't see the beast master come out from area C12, but another bell rang out. Which leaderboard is changing ranking again? Someone in the crowd chuckled and habitually turned to look at the leaderboard area. As he saw the flickering light on the leaderboard, he opened his eyes wide in surprise and exclaimed out loud, "It's that board again." The crowd buzzed again. Obviously, this means that the beast master in area C12 has not finished raising his rank. For a moment, they were torn between waiting for the mysterious beast master to appear or going to see the new changes on the leaderboard. Amid their indecision, another leaderboard next to the current leadership stage Pet Beast Combat Power list lit up. It was the historical rankings of leadership stage Pet Beast Combat Power. Unlike the flickering light of the current board, the anomaly of the historical rankings board was more obvious. Bright lights surrounded the electronic screen. An array of light shot up from the base of the screen, forming a column of light that reached the sky. The historical rankings also changed. Accompanied by someone's astonished cry, those who were still indecisive quickly returned to the leaderboard area. Changes in the current leaderboard occur a few times each day. But changes in the historical rankings often don't occur more than a few times a month. More importantly, the one being tested in Area C12 at the moment was a mysterious beast master, whom they had never heard of before. After parachuting into the top 20 of the current leaderboard, was he going to parachute into the historical rankings too? Old Yu, who waited early in front of the two leaderboards, suppressed his shock and patted his friend on the shoulder, saying nonchalantly, "I told you so." "You're awesome." Old Joe gave Old Yu a thumbs up and then stared at the leaderboard whose rankings were about to change. "How high do you think this mysterious beast master can reach in the historical rankings?" "I have no idea." Old Yu shook his head slightly. "Let's see." As the two talked, the others who had left but returned swarmed around the two leaderboards. Under their watchful eyes, the rankings on the two lit-up leaderboards began to change. The first to change was the current board. The name of some poor guy who had just slipped from the 499th to the 500th place lit up again, and then quickly fell off the board under everyone's gaze. After that, new names from the new 499th to the nearly top third. A total of 497 names lit up at the same time. Their rankings brushed back one place. In the blinding light, a new name emerged at the third position. Third place, Starfear Foster Care Shop, Flash Thundercat, Combat Power, 51,228. After parachuting into the 18th place, this mysterious beast master used another pet beast to parachute into the third place on the leaderboard. Everyone held their breath in unison, looking at the other historical rankings board. As soon as the changes on the current board ended, the historical rankings board began to change. The first to light up was the beast master ranked 500th. After being informed by a few who knew the facts, everyone paid their respects to this beast master who had fallen in the beast tide decades ago, watching his name disappear from the historical rankings. Then, from the 499th to the 372nd in the historical rankings, all the names lit up. Under the incredulous gaze of the crowd, a new name parachuted into the 372nd place in the historical rankings. "I remember," someone spoke up hesitantly. "The reward for breaking into the top 400 in the historical rankings for the first time seems to be 10,000 Beast Master Points." Everyone fell silent. 10,000 Beast Master Points. Ordinary beastmasters couldn't earn that many in their entire life, and this mysterious beastmaster had easily earned it. "Let's go." In the crowd, Old Yu tugged at Old Joe's hand. "Let's go to Area C12. "Huh?" Old Joe looked puzzled. "Leave now. Aren't we waiting for the beastmaster to finish testing his third pet beast? Won't the leaderboard change again later?" Old Yu was silent for a moment, remembering the figure of the young man from earlier. There won't be any more changes. His observational skills were always sharp. Of the 3 pet beasts the young man brought, only 2 showed interest in this leaderboard, while the other pet beast looked at the other leaderboards. So it's highly likely that the pet beast isn't adept at combat. "I believe you." Thinking about Old Yu's certainty earlier, Old Joe began to believe him a little more. The 2 of them passed through the crowd waiting for the third round of leaderboard changes and headed towards Area C12, where they ran into Suran, who was curiously looking around. "Strange, why is everyone over there?" Looking at the swarm of people crowded around the leaderboard, a puzzled expression surfaced on Suran's face. "Hee, they are there to see the changes in your ranking." A bright smile quickly spread across Old Yu's face. As expected, he guessed right. "Uncle, you're here too." Faced with this uncle who had patiently explained things to him earlier, Suran smiled friendly, then showed a slight surprise. "Just getting on the leaderboard is causing such a commotion." "Old Yu." "Old Joe." "It's not just simply getting on the leaderboard." Old Yu shook his head helplessly. "It's common for newcomers to get on the leaderboard, but it's quite rare to see one that goes straight into 18th place and 3rd place on the current board, and even into 372nd place in the historical rankings." "Oh right, there's also the historical rankings." Suran slapped his forehead, only realizing it then. "So, are there Beast Master Points rewards?" "There are 10,000 Beast Master Points." "Meow, 10,000. Xian's eyes suddenly lit up. It looked at Suran. "Who should these 10,000 points belong to?" "They're yours." Seeing what Xian was thinking, Suran immediately said, "The points earned from the rankings is given to whoever earned them, and we split if earned together." Xian's face was filled with even more happiness. The Beast Trainer ranking is such a good thing. Although the reward for the historical ranking can only be obtained once, it can strive to continue improving its ranking and continue to get rewards. Also, being 3rd place on the current leaderboard, it should receive quite a substantial reward at the end of the week, right? It could see instant wealth right in front of it. Star and Cancan both revealed envious looks. They had already been thinking about climbing the rankings, and now they wanted to do so even more earnestly. For more Beast Master Points, charge forward. After knowing the reason, Suran couldn't help but glance at the crowd discussing in front of the leaderboard again. These people, they should all have seen his alias right. Then, Suran casually opened the main task, his face filled with joy. The progress of the main task 3 went from the previous 0.0370 and directly became 0.1270. Not only the crowd in front of him, but the news was probably still spreading. After fermenting for a few days, it should be able to break through 1% soon. Indeed, it's effective. That being the case, let's add some fuel to the fire. "Let's go, we will check other leaderboards." Suran, leading his 3 little ones, was about to leave. "Wait a moment, young man." Old Yu hurriedly stopped. Suran chuckled. "May I know your name?" "Suran." "Good." Old Yu slightly nodded, secretly noting down this name. "I am Yu Changming, a journalist for the Extract Cloud Beastmaster Report. I am very familiar with the leaderboards here. If you are willing to answer a few of my questions, I can guide you." This was the real reason why Yu Changming had initiated a conversation. The importance of getting first-hand information from such a young beast master who had just made it onto the leaderboard goes without saying. Extract Cloud Beastmaster Report. A surprised expression crossed Suran's face. "Didn't you know?" Now it was Yu Changming's turn to be surprised. "It's a newspaper authorized by the Beast Master Association, which carries all Beast Master-related news. Many people love reading it." "Didn't know before, but I know now." Suran flashed a brilliant smile. They really delivered the pillow just as sleep arrived. You can ask however many questions, feel free. Chapter 295, 182, Star Speed. "That's truly great." Suran's friendly cooperation made Yu Changming let out a sigh of relief. He knew that him being a guide to Suran was nothing more than a trivial help compared to Suran agreeing to his interview. Under such circumstances, Su Ran's willingness to agree made this overly powerful young man seem to be modest and friendly. Let's move to the next ranking then. Yu Changming suppressed the urge to start the interview immediately, initiated a conversation. Can I ask, how old are you? 23. 23. Even though he had an expectation, Yu Changming was still shocked by Su Ran's young age. Given so, suitable rankings for you, besides those for leadership-level beast masters and leadership stage pet beasts, also include the beast trainer ranking by age. Could you introduce me to all those? Su Ran asked further. Indeed, Yu Changming understands the beast trainer ranking specifically. His explanation was a lot different from Ken's vague introduction before. Sure, we can walk and talk. Yu Changming pointed to a direction, then started to speak slowly. The ranking for leadership stage pet beasts which you just participated in is for individual beasts. The beast master and his other pet beasts can't participate, or it would be considered as a violation of the beast trainer ranking rules. Aside from the ranking that tests the power of a single pet beast, there's also a ranking that evaluates the overall strength of a beast master, targeting the beast master himself and all his beasts, and it is divided according to the beast master level. There aren't many rankings divided by age. Given your current age, you can try the beast trainer ranking for youths between the ages of 20 and 30. Those are the 3 ways of ranking. Yu Changming paused. Of course, no matter which type of ranking, you should choose based on your own strengths to get the highest ranking possible. Could you reveal what the pet beast you didn't rank earlier excels in? Yu Changming glanced at Star, who was silent behind Su Ran, constantly searching left and right for the suitable rankings for himself. Star is a support-type pet beast. Not only can it provide enhancements for teammates, but it also possesses high speed. Su Ran pat Star's head and started to introduce a bit proudly. Enhancements and speed, huh? A look of as expected white appeared on Yu Changming's face. In terms of enhancements, you can show off in rankings targeting beast masters, speed, HNG. He stopped his steps and pointed at a board not far away. This one, you might want to give it a try. Su Ran and the 3 little ones looked up, following the sound, and soon saw the name of the new ranking. Leadership level pet beast velocity chart. Next to it, there was also the corresponding historical rankings. Speed. In an instant, Star's eyes lit up. Isn't this ranking made for him? Although being useful in group fights already made him very happy, if possible, he also wanted to independently shine. If it could get onto this ranking and the historical rankings next to it, wouldn't it also be able to gain beast master points like Xian? For Star, who recently became rather poor, this was too important. Meow, I want to try it out. Sure, Su Ran nodded with a smile. Just right, the 3-star skill that Star hadn't tried yet after leveling up from reduction was a speed-increasing skill called Gap Flow Shuttle. His gaze scrolled from the top name in the leaderboard downward, quickly landing on the current first rank. First place, Liu Pei, Wind Ostrich Speed, 417.4 ms. Unlike the battle strength chart with incomprehensible battle power standards, the velocity chart had a very clear standard for speed. The first contestant's speed had already surpassed the speed of sound. This made Su Ran seem a bit serious. At the leadership level, the horrendous speed surpassing that of sound was extremely difficult. Under normal circumstances, those good at speed, the general stage, could reach such speed with relative ease. Previously, using the Heart of Eternal Night's boost and Moon Concealment Star Racing's acceleration, Star absolutely could not surpass the speed of sound. But that was just before. Let's see how fast Star can go now, with the boost from Gap Flow Shuttle. Go Star! Su Ran waved his fist at Star from afar, showing his encouraging expression. Meow, when the Beast Master points back. Xian gave its longtime comrade a pat. Charming, big brother Star, you can do it. Can nodded heavily, his eyes carrying a bit of admiration. Between Xian and Star, if you say Can respects and fears Xian, then to Star, it's like the respect a kid gives to an elder. After all, when they first came to this world, Star accompanied him for a long time. Meow, I will. Feeling the weight in the eyes of his comrades, Star nodded heavily, then with high speed, flew towards the velocity chart below, indicated on test area C23. It seems like the relationship between you and your pet beasts is very harmonious. Watching the interaction between one human and 3 pets the whole time, Yu Changming started to speak with a smile. Aren't you going with it? Chapter 296, 182, Star Speed. No need. Su-Ran pointed to the leaderboard in front of him, a look of trust appearing on his face. At this time, we as partners should wait in front of the leaderboard to see the refresh as soon as possible. I see. Yu Changming seemed to understand something, and a smile appeared on his face. So while waiting for your pet beast to be tested, would you mind if I asked you a few questions? Of course not. Su-Ran shook his head, revealing a sincere smile. On the contrary, I'm quite looking forward to it. The influence of the Extract Cloud Beastmaster report was unknown, but it shouldn't be too low. The appearance of the name Starfair Foster Care Shop would certainly be a great help in completing the main task 3. He must cooperate wholeheartedly with this opportunity. Hearing Su-Ran's reply, the smile on Yu Changming's face deepened. The beast masters he had interviewed in the past were quite impatient about this. Only Su-Ran cooperated so well, using words like looking forward to it to encourage him. What a humble and noble youth he was. He must write a few good words for him in the report. Yu Changming, whose impression of Su-Ran was excellent, secretly decided, and then asked the first question which had been puzzling him. Why is your pseudonym so strange? It seems to be a store name. Here it comes. Su-Ran's smile deepened. Starfair Foster Care Shop is a shop I just opened, providing washing and companion training services for pet beasts of super large size and below, and king stage and below. Hearing Su-Ran's eloquent introduction, which seemed to have been rehearsed countless times without any hitches, Yu Changming's face was slightly taken aback. Huh. Zilulu Tilda, is it my turn? Star neighed and patiently waited for the previous beast master and his pet beast to leave the C-23 test site, then rushed towards the entrance. Even without Su-Ran accompanying him, Star was confident that he could easily handle the rules of the test, which he had seen outside the entrance. After touching the Beast Master badge of Su-Ran at the scanning area and completing the entry according to the steps in the previous C-12 test, Star entered the testing ground alone under the slightly strange gaze of other Beast Masters and pet beasts. It was clear that the Xi'an City Beast Master Association had invested a lot of resources in the construction of the Beast Trainer ranking. Each test site looked the same size, but depending on the function, there were different interiors. This was the real space expansion technique. Every inch of space created was valuable. Only Cloud City, whose city lord had reached the Emperor level, had the confidence to use it extensively. The characteristic of the previous C-12 area was large, while the characteristic of the current C-23 area was long. It was a winding track, 5 kilometers long. The test for the speed chart did not require running from the start to the finish. The pet beast could stop at any time during this course, and the highest instantaneous speed before stopping would be the pet beast's score. In other words, even if this speed only lasted for an instant, it could also be included in the final score. This made Star, who was blessed with the heart of eternal night and had a full battery life, feel a bit regretful. Such a test didn't seem to fully exploit his advantages. However, since he's here, a battle spirit emerged in Star's eyes, which were as purple as crystal, breaking the sound barrier. He had a feeling, when he fully used the gap flow shuttle, he might be able to do it. So let's run. Star forcefully stepped on the ground with his 4 hooves. As a born runner, he quickly regained the rhythm of running, feeling the rushing wind around him with his powerful body. This is not enough, this is just the start. With his eyes as purple as crystal fixed on the front, Star was quietly cloaked in a smoky, dark force, like a cloak belonging to a child of the night. In the escalating momentum, Star's speed continued to rise visibly and kept increasing. 3-star skill, full moon level heart of eternal night. Tap. Accompanying a loud sound of a hooves hitting the ground, Star, who had just leaped in the air, seemed to have entered another world in the next instant, his figure faintly translucent, and his aura vanished. In the blurry light and shadow, Star was cloaked in the cloak of the night, like a ghost in the dark. His speed suddenly increased, so fast that only a blurry outline was left. 3-star skill, full moon level moon concealment star racing. So now, facing the howling wind, Star's eyes became sharper. Let me see the effect of the gap flow shuttle. His body gradually shrank while sprinting, as if he had entered Doryman's Gulliver's tunnel, the blurred light and shadow shrinking at a speed visible to the naked eye. 3 meters, 2 meters, 1 meter. Star's figure became increasingly tiny, even smaller than a newly born little horse. yet its speed surged frighteningly as its body shrank. 3-star skill, waning moon-level gap flow shuttle. Boom, boom, boom. The deafening boom echoed in Star's ears. The increasingly intense gale formed an impervious barrier, blocking Star's path. It was getting closer, inching towards the speed of sound. Star's eyes became even more fierce. Its body continued to shrink, to the point where it seemed like it could be easily lifted by a single hand. And yet, its speed reached a mind-boggling level. In a sudden moment, Star felt that the fierce wind barrier in front had been shattered, and the deep booms could no longer be heard in its surroundings. It seemed as if it had entered a silent world, suddenly transitioning from extreme noise to tranquility. Bright light emanated from the single horn on its forehead, illuminating everything around it. Even though there were no illusions that needed to be dissipated, Star wanted to shine brightly at this moment. Thud! At last, Star stopped at the finish line of the runway. In front of it, the screen displayed its test results after a moment of silence. Speed, 459.1 ms. This was Star's speed. Ding! Hearing the bell sound all of a sudden, Su Ran and Yu Changming temporarily halted their interview. What is this sound? Having heard the bell for the first time, Su Ran looked curious. He then looked at the flickering velocity chart of the current leadership stage pet beasts in front of him. Is this the notification sound for ranking changes? Indeed, Yu Changming nodded. There was still plenty on his mind. The few simple Q and A just now had uncovered a vast amount of information. So that's why so many people were crowding around the rankings when I was climbing up just now, Su Ran realized. A ranking change sure makes a big fuss, doesn't it? This is nothing. Yu Changming shook his head, pointing at the pillar of light erupting from the historical rankings beside them. Now this is a big commotion. Made it into the historical rankings. A smile appeared on Su Ran's face. Looks like I'm going to receive Beast Master points as a reward again. While the rankings hadn't started to shift yet, Su Ran quickly scanned the placements on the historical rankings. Liu Pei, who was currently in first place, had also made it into the top 10 of the historical rankings, sitting at 9th. It seemed that he was not a simple character either. Yet the one who truly outshined them was no other than the number 1 on the historical records. First place Fang Kenghai, speedy winged kite speed, 503.4 ms. Once again, Chairman Fang is first. Su Ran clicked his tongue, his curiosity about the prodigy he had never met growing. You'll see plenty more later. Yu Changming laughed. Let's not talk anymore, the ranking has started to move. While the two were conversating, the crowd had already started gathering in front of the rankings, their eyes fixed on the two lists, filled with chatter. The current chart was the first to see a change in rankings, instantly drawing everyone's gaze. The one in 500th place lit up, and then disappeared from the list. Seeing this familiar scene, the crowd's expression subtly changed. Could it be that one again? Before they could finish their thoughts, the following change on the chart left everyone wide-eyed. All of the names on the list from position 1 to 499 lit up and then all moved down one place. A new name took the spot originally held by the one in first place. First place, Starfair Foster Care Shop, Star God Horse Speed, 459.1 ms. This was a leap to first place. I've been very busy these past few days, and my daily routine has been quite erratic. I will adjust it and stop here for today. We'll make it up with 2 chapters over the weekend. Chapter 297, 183, Can-Can's Ambition. The current ranking, first. Looking at this suddenly appeared name, the entire crowd was astonished. It's him again. It's that mysterious beast master called the Starfair Foster Shop again. This guy didn't even test the combat power of his third pet beast and changed the ranking while everyone was anxiously waiting. He caught everyone off guard so that, until now, not many people knew his true identity. And this time, his results are even more amazing than before. Previously, Liu Pei, who ranked first on the current list, had his pet beast, the Wind Ostrich, breaking through the speed of 400, which was a very astonishing result. It could enter the top 10 in historical rankings, which was very rare. Quite a few people speculated that when Liu Pei becomes stronger and can't keep his current ranking, his historical ranking would probably enter the top 3. And now, the Beast Master who seemed difficult to surpass has been parachuted above, and the score exceeded by a large chunk. Quick, look at the historical rankings. Someone shouted, and the others, surprised by this, quickly regained their senses and shifted their gazes towards the historical rankings. After the changes in the current rankings, the historical ranking also began to change. Everyone who had seen the results of the mysterious Beastmaster was not interested in the 500th place of the historical ranking, which was about to disappear. They all turned their eyes to the third person on the historical ranking. Third place, Qin Yue, Gale Dragon Speed, 458.7 ms. The mysterious Beastmaster who just appeared, he's taking her spot. It's Qin Yue, someone in the crowd murmured. She was a real demon, always at the top of the velocity chart before descending from the rankings a few years ago, and now she scored on the Sui stage rankings. This Qin Yue is known for her hot temper. Now that the mysterious Starfare Foster shop took her place in the historical rankings, she might be looking for trouble. Speaking of, I still have no idea who this Starfare Foster shop Beastmaster is. This time I won't be fooled anymore. I'm going to block him in C23. Suran heard what others were saying in the crowd, and his expression became strange. Young friend Suran, are you planning to reveal your identity? Yu Changming laughingly asked. After a previous conversation with Suran, Yu Changming had learned a lot about him and realized that he had misunderstood him before. That's why the young man was so proactive in his interview. He wanted his shop to be known by more people. It doesn't matter, it was a win-win situation. In Yu Changming's view, Suran used his shop's name as a pseudonym, ostensibly also to increase the fame of the shop. In this case, not confessing his identity could be a good idea. People love exploring unknowns, and this could generate a bigger discussion. Suran hesitated for a moment, then shook his head slightly. Let's not reveal it for now. According to others, if he took the ranking from Qin Yue, who was a general-level Beastmaster, he might get in trouble. General level, like senior goose power. When the wind is high, play it safe. He quickly contacted Star through contractual sensing, telling it to not come out in a hurry, and he'd find a chance to summon it back later. My young friend Suran is indeed a wise man. Yu Changming nodded in agreement, smiling. Suran, who was still explaining the situation to Star, looked up blankly. Bang. Accompanied by a deep closing of the door, the house shook violently. Chinkin came down from upstairs, looking surprised at the woman changing shoes by the door. Sis, you're back early. The woman finished changing into the indoor slippers, lifted her head, and revealed a bright and beautiful face under the light. The features similar to Chin Can reflected the superior genes of their parents. However, the next moment, the woman leaped up quickly like a kangaroo, pounced on Chin Can, and threw him over her shoulder. His handsome face made a close encounter with the ground, and a hint of fierceness appeared in those cat-like eyes. I heard, you little bastard, lost to a level 3 city Beastmaster. Sis, it hurts, it hurts. Chinkin yelled helplessly. That's old news, seriously. Old news? Qin Yue snorted lightly, let go of Chin Can, moved her foot off his butt. I've been out for a month and I come back to this news. Chin Can, aren't you embarrassed? It's not entirely my fault. Chin Can stood up, rubbing his back. That guy's really strong and mysterious. The level 3 city is definitely a smokescreen. You'll see when you check it out. What's so interesting about a leadership-level Beastmaster? Qin Yue leisurely stretched on the couch. I've been out on a mission outside the city for a whole month. I'm not interested in this petty news. A whole month? Qin Yue held up her middle finger. Do you know how I spent this month? This time I came home. I'll rest for at least 2 months. There's no way I'm leaving the city again. Qin Yue vowed and then glanced at Chin Can. By the way, is there any money left on my beast washing foster shop's washing and protection card? Chapter 298, 183, Can Can's Ambition. I have to take those restless little brats of mine for a good wash and brush up. They've been out and about for a month and gotten filthy. There's more. Chin Can nodded and then seemed to remember something, his face becoming a bit strange. Then again, I'd recommend a different place. There's a new foster shop in town that's been much better with washing than the beast baths. They have a shop that good. I've got to try it. Qin Yue's eyes lit up, her interest peaked immediately. What's the shop? Ding-ling-ling. A call rang out from Qin Yue's waist belt. She gave Chin Can a quiet I'm on the phone gesture, then answered, hello, Zio Yu, what's up? Just as Chin Can was about to mention the Starfare foster care shop, he closed his mouth. The caller was her elder sister's best friend, and her elder sister had just returned from the outskirts of the city. Their phone conversation could last for a couple of hours, so he decided to just wait until they were finished. With that thought, he quietly took a step back, but the very next moment, Qin Yue's exclamation made him stop in his tracks. What the heck? My third place on the historical leaderboard of beast speed rankings in the leadership stage is gone. Ah, this. Qin Ken's ears perked up. Your sister is indeed very strong, but in Xi'an City, where talent is abundant, there were still many others who possessed considerable power at the same stage. That's why his older sister didn't have any particularly impressive achievements in the beast trainer rankings. Except for speed. Among the 4 beasts his sister trained, one of them was a gale dragon, a king species with a wind attribute that was practically unmatched in terms of speed. Because of it, when she was a leadership-level beast master, she once topped the speed charts. When she dropped out of the rankings, she even reached 3rd place in the historical rankings. This was her highest ranking as a beast master, and something she took great pride in. And now, someone had taken her 3rd place. Though only one rank separates 3rd and 4th place, they hold very different meanings. The 3rd place means being in the top 3, while the 4th is only in the top 10. The mechanics of the historical rankings meant that she, who had already broken through to the general level, had no chance of trying to challenge and surpass her previous record. With this in mind, Qin Kan couldn't resist glancing over at Qin Yue, who was growling and looking very sour. Given what he knew about his elder sister, the one who took her 3rd place was in for a beating. The call ended quickly, and after putting the phone away, Qin Yue flopped back onto the couch, grumbling, "That bastard, wait till I recover in a few days. I'll make him pay." "Sis, what happened?" Qin Kan really couldn't hide his schadenfreude as he sat down on another couch next to Qin Yue, who took your 3rd place. Was it Liu Pei, who's consistently lead in the current rankings? "He's not up to the task yet." Qin Yue grumbled. "Liu Pei is about to have a breakthrough. I don't think he can surpass me when he steps down the rankings." Some never-seen-before beast master popped out of the blue, made his ranking debut by shooting straight up above me. Just saying this made Qin Yue angry. If he had surpassed her one step at a time, she could have accepted that. But this type, intentionally not attempting the ranking and then suddenly giving it everything to reach the top, was just too unexpected. There should at least be some foreshadowing. Who does that? Qin Yue slammed a hand on the couch, being very outspoken. "Sis, remember to keep up appearances." Qin Kan's mouth twitched a bit, but then something seemed to register and his expression changed slightly. A beast master who had never appeared before. A leaderboard for leadership stage pet beasts. Could it be him? But can he really achieve such a level? He never showed such a ridiculous speed before, did he? "Sis, is the beast master who surpassed you surnamed Su?" Even though he was doubtful, Qin Kan couldn't help but confirm with his older sister. "No," Qin Yue shook her head. Qin Kan was just about to breathe a sigh of relief when he heard his sister speak again. "The guy used a pseudonym called Starfear Foster Care Shop. Sounds strange as hell. I doubt he's up to anything good." What?" Qin Kan blinked in surprise. "A pseudonym is the Starfear Foster. Sure, he taught Su Ran to advertise after achieving high ranks and getting attention in the rankings, but he didn't teach him to advertise like this." "No, that's not the point. The one who surpassed his sister really was that guy. Forget about all this, I've only just returned to the city, and there's already so much bad news, it's exhausting." Qin Yue slouched on the couch, one hand on her stomach, and said, "Let's talk about something fun. What's the name of that place you mentioned that was so good at washing and grooming?" Qin Kan. Should he speak up or not? Zailu, 80,000 beast master points. The star brought secretly back to Su Ran's side, gasped in surprise upon hearing the reward for the 3rd place in the historical rankings. "Yes, that's 80,000, Su Ran nodded. When he first found out from Yu Changming, he was also shocked by this enormous reward. The amount of beast master points awarded for different ranking zone in the historical rankings of leadership stage pet beasts is fixed. The first 500, 400, 300, and 200 each received a reward of 5,000 beast master points. That's why Xi'an had received 10,000 beast master points all at once previously. The first 150 each received a reward of 10,000 beast master points. The first 10, 3 and 1 each received a reward of 20,000 beast master points. On a single historical ranking, you can get up to 100,000 beast master points as a reward. and Star, landing directly in third place, can get 80,000 Beast Master points. This represented an astronomical sum that he would hardly be able to spend in a short amount of time. Upon realizing that he was about to possess 80,000 Beast Master points, Star was moved to tears. At that moment, he felt the immense difficulty of overcoming his previous state of poverty. Never again would he have to endure those impoverished days. Meow tilde, I also want to try the velocity chart. Xian, standing next to him, showed a look of envy. Previously, he had been quite pleased with himself for earning 10,000 Beast Master points. But look at Star now. Isn't it all about speed? With his step on electric traces, his speed isn't bad either. Just needed to test instantaneous speed, then he could take off from the starting point, reach the finish line, then instantly return to the starting point, and easily top the historical rankings. I just asked, there are some limitations to the velocity chart test. Jumping speed skills don't count, only trajectory speed skills can be included. Su Ran tousled Xian's head helplessly. Jump and trajectory are a kind of classification for speed skills. Jump means to instantly appear from one location to another, such as teleportation. Trajectory refers to normal movement. Although fast enough speed will also have a teleportation-like effect, the trajectory will be blocked, but the jump will not, so there is an essential difference between the two. Xian's step on electric traces. The normal movement belongs to the trajectory speed skill, but the return process belongs to the jump skill. But Xian's normal movement speed is much slower compared to Star, certainly not breaking the sound barrier. And the lowest on the historical velocity chart in the top 500 is already approaching the speed of sound. Compared to charging the velocity chart, the combat power list is more suitable for Xian. After all, he still has a lot of room for improvement in the leadership stage. Meow tilde, alright tilde. Upon hearing Su Ran's analysis, Xian sighed. Damn it, he could only console himself. After subsequent strength improvements, he would charge the historical combat power list. The Beast Master points that Star gains, he will be able to gain sooner or later. Charming, what about me? Can, who was also envious, seemed restless. It too wanted Beast Master points. In the combat power list test just now, even though it performed pretty well, it was a lot worse than Xian, and it didn't even make it into the historical rankings. Next, they had to let it try the other lists to see if it could gain any Beast Master points right. Alright, it's your turn next. Su Ran shook his head helplessly, then looked at Uncle Yu. Uncle Yu, where is the defense list? Over there. Yu Changming pointed out the location of the defense list. He then looked at Can, who was following behind Su Ran. Is this the Panlong Turtle, which ranks 18th on the current combat power list? Is it good at defense? Charming tilde, yes, that's me, but I'm 19 now. Can nodded, but looked a little weak. This rank sounded impressive, but was nothing compared to Xian and Star. Later, when it came to its best defense, it must make the historical ranking. It needs to prove its worth, that all the beatings it took from Xian as a child weren't in vain. Chapter 2 is in progress. Charge for it. Chapter 299, 184. I Ken Yashin taking off from the ground. This is the defense power list. Under the guidance of Yu Changming, Su Ran and his 3 pet beasts arrived in front of another leaderboard. Su Ran glanced back. At this time, many people were still gathered around the speed chart and the C-23 test area. Not a single person was before the defensive list. Good. He shifted his attention back to the leaderboard in front of him. The first text he saw was an eye-catching line at the top of the list. Current leader stage, Pet Beast Defense Power List. Underneath this line was the one with the highest defense power. First place, Sukeo, Steel Shield Dog Defense Power, 61,232. Over 60,000 defense power. Su Ran touched his chin. By comparison, it seemed that the standards given by the Beast Master Association for defense power and combat power are the same. It was unclear what these standards were exactly. He looked at Can, who was eager to try, and pointed at the inscription at the bottom of the leaderboard with a smile. You can go to the C07 test field on your own. Just like with Star, I'll summon you back later. Charming understood. Can nodded with a serious expression, then strode boldly towards the corresponding test field with a high spirit. Defense was the area it was best at. Pay attention to this. This time, it must make the historical rankings and gain Beast Master points. After sending off Can-Can, Su-Ran refocused on the list, and a somewhat familiar name came into his view. Third place, Shang-Xin, ground beast defense power, 57,339. This Shang-Xin, Su-Ran started hesitantly. Didn't I see her name on the leaderboard before? Haha, your Panlong turtle pushed her down to the 18th place in the combat power list. Yu Changming laughed. If you can surpass her ranking this time, that would be a second victory. Ah well. Su-Ran scratched his head, estimating Can-Can's defense. Maybe, there might be a possibility. Charming, I'm ready. After the previous tester completed the test, Can-Can stepped quickly into the test area, raising its head high, its eyes filled with anticipation. Before entering, it had read the specifics about the defense power test. Unlike other tests, the defense power test has two sections. One is the defensive power test against attribute resistances. The other is the defensive power test when faced with suppressed attributes. In other words, Can-Can was going to face a thunder attribute attack first, followed by a wind attack, and the final score would be based on its ability to defend under these two extreme conditions. Wind attack, Can-Can wasn't very familiar with. But the thunder attribute, it was extremely familiar with. With a fighting spirit surging in its eyes, Can-Can looked at the prompt for the test to start, let out a roar, and then rapidly expanded, creating a gust of wind around it. Amidst the smoke and dust, Can-Can, now the size of a 700-meter giant beast, emitted a yellow glow around its body, with the illusion of a dragon turtle flashing occasionally in the sky. It had already adjusted itself to peak condition by consecutively casting Jizumitsu, dragon turtle's power, and echoing of earth vein. A stream of lightning, roughly the thickness of a man's arm, emerged from the void, then struck down violently towards Can-Can's body, touching a scale on Can-Can's shoulder with a sharp zip sound before scraping the scales. Seeing such an attack, Can-Can's eyes flashed with contempt. That's it, any casual strike from Xian was stronger than this, right? Charming, make it stronger. Can-Can roared to the sky, starting to taunt the testing equipment. The next moment, it was dumbfounded. Dense lightning flashed around, forming a large thunderball that enclosed it. Looking at the thousands of light points on the surface of the thunderball growing brighter, Can-Can couldn't help but swallow. No way. Isn't the appetizer a little lighter compared to the main course? It didn't dare to show off now. It immediately covered its body surface with a thick layer of mud as if it had rolled around in a thick mud pond. But this soft mud felt inexplicably unshakable. 3-star skill, waning moon level, giving body to fertile soil. Although it was waning moon level, with full moon level proficiency under echoing of earth vein boosting, the protective power of giving body to fertile soil was already infinitely close to the full moon level. Combined with Can-Can's escalating power, it gave a sense of being invincible. The moment Can-Can completed the spell, hundreds of bolts of lightning burst out of the thunderball from different positions, each one having similar power to the one it had just faced. They were like sharp spears, piercing towards the mud around Can-Can, then sank like stones in the sea, not stirring up any waves. The lightning was different from before. Because of the thunderball, the lightning maintained its power even after initially striking. It drew more power and continued to attack Can-Can's body through the space that had been pierced, as if in a continuous electrocution. Such electrocution was getting stronger at a speed, visible to the naked eye, as more and more lightning burst out of the thunderball. Aware that something was wrong, Can-Can put away its contempt. The yellow glow around its body grew brighter, the echoing of earth vein reached its peak, continuously enhancing its own defense power by drawing Earth's power. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. More and more electric lights wreaked havoc around Can-Can, like wildly dancing snakes of thunder, trying to pierce through the mud and attack Can-Can's body underneath. Chapter 300, 184. Iken Yashin taking off from the ground. This isn't enough. In Can-Can's eyes, a sharp gleam emerged. His massive body remained motionless, unshaken by the electricity. The continual electric attacks were wholly absorbed by his giving body to fertile soil. At this moment, he, covered in mud, seemed to have transformed into a mountain. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. Seemingly angered by Can-Can's attitude, the Thunderball's lightning emission speed started to accelerate, covering Can-Can's body with ever more thunderbolts, wrapping it densely. Under such intense electricity, even the giving body to fertile soil began to struggle. Gradually, electric arcs started to bounce on the surface of the mud. This showed that giving body to fertile soil could not absorb and transmit the thunder force in time, causing an overflow of the attack. Charming, it's kicking in, it's kicking in. Feeling the strong tingling sensation brought by the overflow of thunder force, Cancan's eyes revealed a hint of nostalgia. It felt like being beaten up by Xian. If it's just this, he can keep going. Charming, let's have more. Crack. Accompanied by continuous sharp sounds, the speed of the electric emission escalated once again. 7,000, 8,000, 9,000. Finally, when the number of thunderbolts reached 9,000, giving body to fertile soil completely lost its protective effect, and Cancan, whose defense was broken, was instantly charred by electricity. The next moment, the thunderbolts and the thunderball disappeared together. The first mock test of defense had been completed. Fine, you're mighty indeed. Dazed due to the electric shock, Cancan shook his head. A light brown halo enveloped his body, rapidly healing his wounds. His eyes revealed a hint of fear. He had rarely confronted the wind attribute. This attribute could restrain the earth attribute, so the upcoming attack may not be that simple. So, Cancan raised a claw and then pressed it heavily on the ground. Just performing this simple action with his gigantic 700-meter body unleashed a world-destroying majesty. Along with the violent roar, barriers radiating a light brown light and a metallic luster sprang up from the ground. In a very short time, they rose almost a kilometer in height and closed above Cancan's head, densely wrapping his huge body. 3-star skill waning moon level, eternal iron wall. The moment this skill was cast, sharp wind blades materialized from all sides of the testing ground and fiercely slashed down at the eternal iron wall. The wind blades looked vaguely outlined. They didn't seem very powerful, but when faced with Earth's defense, they had incredible destructive power. Each of them left a non-shallow trace on the hard barrier. Soon, the once bright and smooth surface of the iron wall was filled with marks left by wind blades, becoming battered beyond recognition. Cancan, hiding under the iron wall, felt the situation outside and heaved a sigh of relief. Just this. It was a little threatening, but not much. As the Earth attribute power poured in, the eternal iron wall activated its other effect. The numerous cuts started to fade quickly, eventually disappearing, leaving behind the smooth surface of the wall. But before Cancan could rejoice, the next wave of wind blade attacks followed. Unlike the previous attack, this time it was double-bladed wind. After the first wind blade left a trace, the second one quickly followed, landing at the same spot, leaving a deeper trace. Feeling the increasingly significant vibrations around his body, Cancan's eyes quickly became serious. The wind attribute is a little terrifying. Under his desperate control, Earth attribute power continuously poured into the eternal iron wall, continually repairing the damage caused by the wind blades. Triple blade wind, quadruple blade wind, quinquennial blade wind. Unlike the test with the thunder attribute, the wind attribute's test was a huge challenge to Cancan's defense. Ultimately, under the 7-blade wind, the eternal iron wall was torn apart by countless wind blades. Cancan, hiding under the iron wall with giving body to fertile soil activated, could not escape either and became heavily wounded. The wind blades dissipated quickly. During Cancan's healing, his final test result appeared. Defense, 60,194. Charming, stable. Excitement flashed in Cancan's eyes. Before coming, he had specifically checked the historical defense rankings and the Beastmaster at the 500th position. With his defense power, he could easily make it onto the list. Beastmaster points, here I come. Sister Zen, you're here. At the entrance of the Beast Trainer ranking, a girl with long black hair rushed over tiredly. Another girl who had been waiting at the gate went up to meet her. You mentioned on the phone earlier that my spot on the combat power list was taken. The first to receive the news, Shang Xin, grabbed the hand of the girl who greeted her. What exactly happened? Tell me as we walk. Okay, the girl nodded, telling Shang Xin everything she knew about the situation. When they reached the combat power list, Shang Xin had already learned about the whole process from her friend. Seeing herself now at rank 20, Shang Xin's expression became a bit odd. Having your ranking taken by some powerful Beastmaster really is annoying. Shang Xin's thoughts about challenging the mysterious Beastmaster named Starfare Foster Care Shop, who was in third place, faded as she looked at the ranking. The one who pushed her off the rank wasn't even their strongest pet beast. "Sister Xin, it's okay," the girl beside her comforted, holding on to Shang Xin's arm. "Your greatest strength is defense. Not just anyone can get the third spot on the defense rankings." "Yeah," Shang Xin chuckled, a touch of pride in her eyes. "But I also need to keep an eye on the attack rankings. The weekly settlement is coming up. Being in the 20th position is too risky. If there are any more fluctuations in the ranking, there's a good chance I'll fall out of the top 20 and miss out on a lot of beast master points. It's been a while since I've climbed the rankings," cubing her sleeve up, a battle spirit ignited in Shang Xin's eyes. "At the very least, I've got to put that panlong turtle in its place." "Okay, go Sister Xin." The girl waved her hand vigorously in the air, watching as Shang Xin entered testing site C12. A moment later, a ding bell rang throughout the venue. On the current combat power list, Shang Xin's ranking had returned to 18th, while the panlong turtle had fallen to 20th. "Sister Xin, you're amazing." The girl complimented Shang Xin, who walked out calmly, an admiring look on her face. "My rip-wind demon bird has improved a little this month." Shang Xin glanced at her ranking and breathed out a sigh of relief. Good, back to 18th, it's not being stolen." Just as Shang Xin was thinking about this, another pleasant bell rang out. Ding! Were there new ranking changes? Shang Xin's eyes swept elsewhere, looking for the flashing leaderboard. The next moment, her expression stiffened slightly. The changes were on the defense rankings. For some reason, an uneasiness began to creep up in her heart. "Come on, let's go check it out." Shang Xin's tone conveyed her urgency as she grabbed the girl next to her and rushed towards the defense rankings. There were also people who had been eagerly awaiting the Starfare foster care shop on the velocity chart, but never got to see that mysterious beastmaster. At this moment, all of them had a sense that something was off. "Let's hurry up." Seeing so many people converging towards the defense rankings, Shang Xin's uneasy premonition grew stronger. A moment later, the two girls appeared before the leaderboard. The changes in the ranking on the current leadership stage Pet Beast Defense ranking had already ended. A new, yet familiar name to everyone present appeared in the second place on the leaderboard. Second place, Starfare Foster Care Shop, Panlong Turtle Defense, 60,194. Seeing herself now at rank 4, Shang Xin was stunned. The current weekly rankings divide the rewards more intricately. The top 100 are almost divided into 10 brackets, and the top 10 rewards differ for each rank. Falling from 3rd to 4th, her rewards were considerably less. Compared to this, the small gain from getting back in the top 20 combat power list mean nothing. She who did not want to be outdone had been thoroughly outdone. And it was by the same person, the same beast. Why is this happening? Is this person named Starfare Foster Store deliberately trying to get on her bad side? Chapter 301, 185, The New Goal of the Three Little Ones. Shang Xin was still questioning her existence in the crowd, when the surrounding crowd once again burst into an uproar. Following the end of the current defense list ranking changes, the historical rankings began to fluctuate. After the unfortunate withdrawal of the 500th rank, the large group of names from the 499th rank all the way to the 269th lit up at the same time, and then uniformly moved down one rank. A new name, shining with a dazzling light, appeared in the 269th place on the historical rankings, replacing the name that had previously held this position. The reward for entering the top 300 of the historical rankings in one go was 15,000 Beast Master points. With the rank on the historical rankings, this Beast Master who had yet to show his face had won a wealth that normal Beast Masters would struggle to get in decades. This made the onlooking crowd feel both envious and more curious about the identity of this mysterious Beast Master, known as the Starfare Foster Care Shop. Who could it be, possessing such a powerful ability, yet having never competed before? "That guy must not be in the testing area," someone in the crowd exclaimed. "He must have let the pet beasts go in for the test themselves, then hid in a corner and summoned them back. He might be among us at this very moment." Hearing this, the crowd stirred, with everyone glancing around, trying to figure out who this mysterious Beast Master could be. Quite a few Beast Masters were casting suspicious glances at Suran. Although the two pet beasts by his side seemed harmless, one was a cat and the other a horse, both seemingly matching the mysterious Beast Master's pet beasts. Could it be him? For a moment, those noticing Su Ran looked at him with increasingly puzzled expressions. Feeling the stares from those around him, the corner of Su Ran's mouth twitched slightly. Even though the Starfair foster care shop was located in Xi'an City, and he would inevitably be found out under this pseudonym, he hoped it wouldn't happen now. He couldn't stay here any longer. Although he hadn't seen much of the beast trainer rankings, he wouldn't be staying in Xi'an City for just a day or two, and there was plenty of time. Therefore, in light of the circumstances, it was best to leave first. Uncle Yu, I shall take my leave. Goodbye for now, Su Ran decisively waved at Yu Changming, then quickly left with Star and Xian. Once he was out of the Beast Master rankings area, he summoned Kankan back from the C07 testing area. The man and his 3 pets swiftly disappeared into the dim night, leaving behind in the Beast Master rankings crowd, who once again missed finding the mysterious Beast Master. Sister Xin, don't worry. I believe that with your strength you can quickly surpass that mysterious Beast Master. A girl next to Shang Xin in the crowd lightly shook her arm and encouraged. It's tough. Shang Xin shook her head slightly, with a touch of loss in her eyes. Unlike the combat power list, she had just refreshed her defense list score yesterday, so she knew very well that she, now fallen to the 4th place, wouldn't be able to surpass the other person in a short time, not even the 3rd place. It was all because of that guy. Shang Xin couldn't help but glare at the name hanging in 2nd place on the list. In 3 days, it would be time for the current rankings to be settled weekly. That person had knocked her down in 2 out of the 3 rankings he had competed in, causing her to lose many rewards in the process. Even if it wasn't intentional, he was still detestable. After a moment of silence, Shang Xin turned to the girl beside her. Su Li, isn't your father working in the commercial department? Yes, what's up, Sister Xin? The named girl asked curiously. Could you help me find out? Shang Xin hesitated slightly, whether there is actually a shop called Starfair Foster Care Shop. Okay, Su Li nodded, took out her cell phone and stepped aside. Then you wait for me, I'll ask my father. Watching the familiar girl leave, Shang Xin's eyes flickered. If it's indeed a shop, I'll visit it tomorrow and ask if that guy did it on purpose. There were not a few smart people in the crowd. After a long time of waiting for the mysterious Beast Master to appear, and without seeing any new list ranking changes, many people in the crowd realized that the Beast Master might have left and started tracking him down using this special pseudonym. For a time, many people in Xi'an City received phone calls asking if they knew about a foster care shop called Starfair, and similarly, many posts asking about it popped up on social media platforms. With more and more posts, naturally, many uninformed people who hadn't come to the Beast Master rankings began to ask for details. The news that a Beast Master named Starfair Foster Care Shop made it to the historical rankings 3 times spread rapidly. A storm was brewing. Few finally back in the shop. Upon returning to the shop, Su Ran stretched lazily, then showed an expectant smile. Let me see, what was the advertisement impact tonight? Thank you for the pseudonym feature of the Beast Trainer rankings. Originally, Su Ran and the 3 little ones' planned advertising methods were much more complex than now, and they may not have had such immediate effects. As long as he was on the ranking for a day, people would continually see the name of the Starfair Foster Care Shop. As long as he made progress on any list, the Starfair Foster Care Shop would attract more attention. There is no better way to advertise. Main Task 3, Out with the Old and with the New. Chapter 302, 185, The New Goal of the 3 Little Ones. Task Description. Please ask the host to set up a branch in a 2nd-level town and reach a local reputation of 70%, 3.270. Task Reward. System Clerk X3, System Upgrade Experience plus 400. Seeing his fame increase by more than 10 times since he set out, a satisfied smile appeared on Su Ran's face. Although the current pace of popularity increase is slower than when he was in Qingzhou City, this is mainly because Xi'an City has a more substantial population base. So this kind of improvement is already better than he expected. Meow, how effective is our advertising? Xian leaned in curiously in front of Su Ran and asked. The effect is very good. Su Ran smiled. If nothing happens, there should be quite a few guests tomorrow, although not necessarily everyone will spend money. With the store open, Su Ran doesn't think these people who heard the news would have no way to find him. So, isn't the business coming? Open the situation. Hearing Su Ran's affirmative reply, The three little ones all showed excited expressions. If the foster shop business improves, they will get more resources. In this way, the speed of getting stronger will naturally be faster. Xilu Tilda, my advertising effect must be the best. Star let out a neigh, his eyes filled with a touch of pride. Being third in the historical rankings of the leadership stage Pet Beast speed list, his ranking result today was the best among the three little ones, so the advertising effect is naturally the best. Charming, my advertising effect is also definitely not weak. Can hummed, not willing to show weakness. It also broke into the top 300 of the historical list, and even took the second place on the current list, so there must be many people who have noticed the Starfair foster care shop because of it. Meow, you too. A glint of fierceness flashed in Zion's eyes. Obviously, it was the first pet beast to be contracted, but at this moment it was ranked third, which made it a little unhappy. As the oldest, it must boost its team spirit. Meow, tomorrow I'm going to the beast trainer ranking again. Zion hummed, burning with soaring fighting spirit in her eyes. The negative effects brought by the Scarlet battle intent have completely disappeared, its fighting power has recovered, and its strength has returned to its peak. It has tried the combat power list today, and it will go there again tomorrow, trying to attack the second place. Not just that, it will try other lists tomorrow. For instance, the speed list that Star has tried. Although it has a high probability of not being able to make the historical list, occupying a high enough ranking on the current list can still earn a certain Beast Master points reward at the end of the week settlement. Not only that, when its name appears on more lists, it will inevitably attract more attention, bringing even bigger advertising effect for Starfair Foster Care Shop. In its life, Zion will never be lesser to any beast. Charming, I'm going too. Can responded in kind. As the only pet beast among the three little ones that has tried 2 lists so far, it was very interested in getting on the list. Can, who is younger than Zion and Star, has a strong competitive spirit. Just thinking about every rank on the list is like defeating an unknown opponent makes it inexplicably excited. If the Panlong Turtle is fired up. Xilu Tilda, I think I can try the defense list. Even Star also seemed eager to have a go. After the previous Twilight Watch level up to become Night Rune, Star can not only bless other teammates, but also bless itself. But if it blesses itself, it can't enhance its strength, it can only increase its defense power with the rune. Therefore, besides speed, its defense power was also quite considerable. Although it's not as abnormal as Can, there's still a good chance to enter the top 500 of the defense list. After going in, it could also get a weekly settlement reward. Although it has already earned 80,000 Beast Master points through the historical speed list, who would say no to more points? I'll go, Su Ran smiled. Without staff, the daily training time in the training area has returned to 6 hours. After you finish your daily training, you can go around every day. Try different ranking, verify your daily progress from another perspective, and advertise our shop by the way. The three little ones nodded in unison. They have already remembered the process of competing for rankings. Next, as long as they bring Su Ran's Beast Master badge to verify their identities, they can compete for the rankings on their own while Su Ran is managing the shop. As mature pet beasts, they have to earn their own Beast Master points. In addition, we can also compete for rankings together after the shop closes every day. Su Ran's face carried a bit of anticipation. Uncle Yu said, in addition to the individual pet beast rankings, there are also rankings for beast masters and pet beasts together. Speaking of this, Su Ran looked towards the wall of the shop on one side. There hung a long knife with a handle bound in white silk, revealing only a very old and worn-out handle. He has never revealed the power of that one blade he sensed in the valley under Thunderbolt Half Mountain. If the strength of a beast master and a pet beast can both be part of the beast master rankings, then it's time to unsheath the blade. Oh yes, one more thing. Looking at the eager faces of the three little ones, Su Ran cleared his throat. Next, the interval of our resource allocation should be lengthened. The faces of the excited three little ones were like thunderstruck, and their expressions collapsed. Why? Because your strength has become stronger. Su Ran softly opened his mouth at the three confused faces. Less than 10,000 physical points a week isn't a significant enhancement to your growth stages. To upgrade a skill from full moon level to halo level requires 10,000 skill points. You might not even be able to upgrade one in a week. If you need to fuse skills now, skill fragments need to be exchanged for 3-star skills. One requires 200 skill fragments. You might not be able to exchange a few in a week. The same goes for skill fusion stone. To fuse skills from 3 stars to 4 stars, the required skill fusion stones will certainly be much more than from 2 stars to 3 stars. Listening to Su Ran's analysis, the expression on the faces of the 3 little ones gradually changed from puzzled to helpless. It has to be admitted that what Su Ran said is correct. A resource allocation once a week is already gradually lagging behind the improvement of the 3 little ones' strength. It's too little and seems scarce no matter what. In this case, frequent distribution might not necessarily be a good thing. But considering the fact that it will take even longer for resource allocation to take place in the future, the expression of the 3 little ones became somewhat gloomy. Unknowingly, resource allocation has become their most anticipated event. It has transformed from a mere selection and exchange of resources to a means of the 3 little ones bonding with each other. Through this process, they would understand each other's power, progress, and future direction, striving forward together. Don't worry, it won't be extended for too long. Seeing the dimming expressions of the 3 little ones, Su Ran shook his head helplessly. Let's change from once a week to once every 2 weeks. One thing he didn't mention. There's not enough resources for distribution, but now that we have arrived at Xian City, the gains from running his foster shop will definitely be higher than before. And the Qingju City branch is always providing him with pleasure value, skill points, physical points, and skill fragments. Although there is a certain percentage of income taken from Qingju City, his overall resource income has almost doubled. And this is just the beginning. Su Ran couldn't help but think of the reward for main task 3. 3 system clerks. With these system clerks, he can open another branch and have more income. In the long run, his income will inevitably double again and again. The pet beasts are putting so much effort into getting stronger, he as a beast master cannot fall behind. In Su Ran's mind, an image of the vast world map emerged. At this moment, he was still in a corner of the world. One day, he wants to flood the map with points belonging to the Starfear Foster Care Shop, and have Starfear Foster Care Shops in every corner of the world. But before that, it's dark now, time to sleep. Su Ran stretched, walking towards the upper floor. We'll work hard again tomorrow. I'm writing the 2nd chapter, charge on. Chapter 303. 186 Linglong Butterfly cleansed of all mundane worldliness. Hatilda. The next morning, Su Ran sat at his bedhead, rubbing his sleepy eyes, looking at the 3 little ones on the room floor. Star had shrunken his body to about 1.5 meters in height, kneeling on the floor with his head lowered against Cancan's shell. Cancan, having shrunken to about a meter under the full moon level of Jizi Sumi, was curled up inside his shell with only his head sticking out, resting on Star's tail. Between these 2 cuddly little fellows lay a fluffy ball of white tinged with a bit of purple. That was Xian, who had also shrunken. Seeing the harmony and affections of the 3 little ones, Su Ran couldn't help but smile. When Su Ran made movements getting out of bed, the 3 little ones woke up one after another, quickly looking towards Su Ran, energetically rushing into the washroom and obediently washing their faces. The first to develop this habit was Cancan, who had an instinct to mimic the behavior of the people and beasts around him after hatching from the egg. After seeing Su Ran wash up, he quickly learned how to do it himself. Later, seeing Cancan so clean, Xian and Star, as his seniors, felt embarrassed and followed suit. After quickly changing his clothes, Su Ran also entered the washroom. After finishing his washing under the watchful eyes of the 3 little ones, he tidied up the sink and said, "Let's go downstairs." Charming food. Cancan swallowed saliva, his face full of anticipation. The pet beast food prepared by Su Ran was loved by the 3 little ones, but Cancan loved it the most because it contained transcendent milk specially prepared for him, a liter stage babe who is 108 meters in body length. Su Ran and the 3 pets got to the basement floor, where he served 3 portions of their meal under their hopeful gazes. Different from each other while eating, the 3 little ones individually managed their food. Xian liked to lick it with its barbed tongue, scraping off food layer by layer and swallowing it. Occasionally, when it came across chunky pieces of meat, it would chew them with the teeth on both sides, making a slight crunch sound. Sometimes it would use its paw to scrape the plate, gathering the scattered food together, making it easier for him to eat next, and then lick its paw clean. In contrast, Star ate much more roughly. His food, although essentially a part of a transcendent being, was still primarily grass and grains with occasional chunks of milk for seasoning. Each time Star would lower his long head right into the food, chewing boomingly. Before evolution, he used to eat his food from a bucket. However, after evolution, his single horn would pierce the food bucket. After several attempts, Suran changed it to a large, wide-mouthed food bowl, solving the problem of inconvenient feeding. Can, who was much longer than before after his evolution, had the same problem, so he, who used to eat from a bucket, also switched to a wide-mouthed bowl just like Star. Can's food varied greatly, but it was soaked in milk, and in the end it looked something like oatmeal. Can liked to eat with his head close to the bowl, always making a mess of his face, which he would then lick clean with his long tongue. Watching the three little ones eating, Suran had a bowl of noodles that he had prepared for himself. He squatted on the ground and started eating hungrily. Looking at the large foster area, which was as grand as the one in the Kingju City branch, but lacked a tenant, Suran suddenly said, "Do you think we'll have a tenant move in today?" Hearing this, the three little ones all momentarily ceased their eating, exchanging glances, eyes filled with expectation. Each resident that would lodge in the shop would also have a unique significance for the three little ones. They would interact daily and get along with each other. This kind of relationship was like interacting neighbors. Some particularly friendly renters in Kingju City had even become familiar friends with the three little ones. Like the Velvet Sparrow. So, regarding what kind of first tenant Starfair foster shop of Xian City would receive, the three little ones were very curious. Meow, if there are new residents, let us know with contractual sensing. Xian looked at Suran with hopeful eyes. No problem, Suran nodded with a smile. He slurped down the last bite of his noodle, stood up, and collected the finished little one's food bowls. You guys go to the training area for training, I'm going to open the shop. Meow Tilda got it. Zelu Tilda got it. Charming got it. The three little ones opened their mouths in unison, watching Suran leave. Then they walked to the training area together. On the other hand, Suran returned to the shop and opened the door. Starfair Foster Shop began a new day of business. Seeing the woman who had barged in as soon as the doors opened, Suran's face momentarily faltered. Then he broke into a smile. Welcome. Starfair Foster Shop. The woman glanced around the shop, then her gaze fell on Suran. Was it you who topped the leaderboard yesterday? This question. Suran was not at all surprised by her question, and he had already thought of an answer. No comment. The woman gave Suran a speechless look, and after a pause she said, "Whether it was you or not, that person must have something to do with you." Chapter 304, 186 Linglong Butterfly Cleansed of All Mundane Worldliness. I am Shangxin. Shangxin. Suran scratched his head, a look of confusion flickering in his eyes. That sounds familiar, who is it again? Shangxin, who had been keeping an eye on Suran, noticed the confusion in his eyes and a hint of disappointment flashed in her own. Seems like it's not him. Maybe as many beast masters speculated last night, the newly opened foster shop had spent a lot of money to hire a big shot to top their charts under a pseudonym. Tell him that I will eventually take back my position on the defense leaderboard. Oh? Understanding dawned in Suran's eyes. Now he remembered, she was the beast master he had surpassed twice. After a night's sleep, he had completely put this matter behind. If Shangxin hadn't mentioned her last sentence, he wouldn't have remembered. No problem, Suran chuckled, then asked, now that you're here, why not check out our shop services? Shangxin appeared contemplative. With the help of Su Li, she had easily found the location of the shop and came over early in the morning. One reason was to express her determination as she did just now. The other reason was her curiosity about the mysterious beast master who hadn't yet appeared. It was obvious from Su Ran's natural reply that he indeed had a connection with the mysterious beast master. In that case, staying a bit longer in the shop might provide more information about the mysterious person. With this thought, Shangxin slowly nodded. It just so happened that one of her 3 pet beasts needed grooming. No matter where she did it, the result would be the same. So why not here? Shangxin's expression stiffened slightly. She saw the price menu on the wall. You, Shangxin's eyes widened, turning to look at Su Ran, who was smiling. Did you make a mistake with your prices? The price is correct. Su Ran shook his head slightly. While our price might be higher, it's worth it. Every shop claims to be worth it. Shang Xin glared at Su Ran, her tone more severe. Give my Linglong butterfly a wash. Although the price was several times higher than her usual grooming shop, as a beast master at the leadership level, Shang Xin obviously didn't lack money. Consider it an investment to find out more about the mysterious beast master. Such a cheater. Shang Xin glared at Su Ran again while scanning the payment code. In her opinion, this guy Su Ran was exploiting customers' curiosity about the mysterious beast master to cheat them. She could imagine that she definitely wouldn't be the last one. Upon payment, a hexagram star array emerged behind Shang Xin. Amidst the strong wind, a large butterfly about 2 meters in wingspan, covered with delicate scales and semi-transparent throughout, flew out of the tempest. Feeling the strong wind blowing against him, Su Ran raised an eyebrow and casually initiated a system identification. Race name, Linglong butterfly. Attribute, wind. Growth stage, leadership stay. Body type, medium. Washing and protection requirement. Review. As one of the most beautiful pet beast species among butterflies, this little butterfly is like a dusty pearl. It's time to use skillful hands to remove its lead hues. One of the most beautiful pet beast species among the butterflies. Having grown accustomed to extracting useful information from the system's unorthodox reviews, Su Ran couldn't help but take another look at the Linglong butterfly before him. Its form was indeed quite elegant, but the wings were somewhat mucky. If the system was right, its appearance should greatly improve after a wash. After all, it had a washing and protection requirement of 5 stars. Follow me. Su Ran beckoned to the Linglong butterfly and then headed towards the grooming room. The Linglong butterfly didn't immediately follow, but instead turned its translucent, crystal-like eyes toward Shang Xin on the side. Go ahead, Shang Xin nodded, I'll go with you. Upon receiving the beast master's response, the Linglong butterfly flapped its wings, following behind Su Ran, and Shang Xin also stepped into the grooming room. As soon as he entered, a look of astonishment flashed in Shang Xin's eyes. Surprisingly, the small storefront contained an unexpectedly spacious grooming space. This space clearly didn't match the exterior of the shop. In Shang Xin's recollections, the only things that could be like this were. Sensing that possibility, a hint of surprise flashed in Shang Xin's eyes, and he couldn't help but take another look at Su Ran. According to the information received from Su Li, this shop had just opened for business the day before yesterday after just completing its registration process. Unbelievably, a newly opened shop had such depth to it. No wonder there was such a mysterious beast master taking up the mantle of the store's name. While Shang Xin was in awe, Su Ran had finished receiving a wealth of information that poured into his mind, learned about the habits of the Linglong butterfly species, and looked at the Linglong butterfly with an odd look in his eyes. He finally understood why the system claimed this creature to be a hidden gem. As a wind pet beast of the butterfly variety, the Linglong butterfly's wings have a very special property, allowing the wind to pass through them unimpeded. The problem was that the dust and other dirty particles that are normally unseen in the wind couldn't pass through the butterfly's wings. So it was like a born air purifier. Each time it fluttered its wings, it would attract the dirty particles from the air onto its wings. Over time, the accumulation of dirt would cause its originally vibrant wings to lose their color. At the same time, what the Linglong butterfly lost was the speed that it should have possessed as a wind pet beast. Its speed was among the top in the wind pet beasts. However, increasingly heavy wings would drastically reduce its speed. The problem of dirty wings was not hard to solve. Regular grooming would cleanse the dirt, and that's it. But there was another problem. The wings of the Linglong butterfly are extremely difficult to clean. Based on the condition of the Linglong butterfly's wings and other parts of its body, it can be seen that Shang Xin had previously sought other foster shops to groom it. However, these grooms were only able to care for the body, unable to scrub clean the wings. This led to the Linglong butterfly's condition not improving much. I've heard of a beast washing foster store. They're famous for their grooming. Su Ran looked at Shang Xin. Have you taken it there for grooming? Were they able to clean the Linglong butterfly's wings? I have. Shang Xin's expression turned slightly gloomy on this topic. They do have a method to clean the wings, but many of the scales on the wings will fall off in the process, requiring a long recovery period. The Linglong butterfly suffers great pain during the process, so I didn't agree. The Linglong butterfly is a very rare and seldom seen pet beast species. Even in a second-level city like Zion City, the number of beast masters who have contracted with this species could be counted on one hand. At first, Shang Xin was blown away by the beauty of the linglong butterfly and contracted it without hesitation. It was only after he realized the difficulties of thoroughly cleaning its wings did he view it as a big problem. Shang Xin looked at Su Ran, feeling like his question had a deeper meaning. Could it be, you can clean them? I can. Su Ran nodded affirmatively without hesitation, giving Shang Xin a positive answer. Give me 10 minutes, and I promise to return to you a linglong butterfly in its prime. As his words fell, Su Ran began the preparations quickly at the operation table. The main reason for the difficulty in grooming a linglong butterfly is that most people don't know how to properly clean its wings. But with the knowledge passed on from the system, Su Ran naturally didn't have these problems. The grooming method of the linglong butterfly is wind wash. Crushing the custom-proportioned wind attribute resources into incredibly tiny particles, and, using a blowing technique, directing it onto the wings of the linglong butterfly. These tiny particles would replace the dirt deposited on the wings of the linglong butterfly, forming crystal-like deposits on the wing's surface. And these resources could be absorbed by the linglong butterfly. While the butterfly absorbed them, these particles could effectively nurture the delicate scales on the butterfly's wings and even polish them. As such, when the linglong butterfly finishes absorbing these particles, it will be like a brand new butterfly. It really is as simple as that. 10 minutes later, Shang Xin watched as the linglong butterfly fluttered its glowing, dazzling wings in the grooming room, creating sparkles in the air. He was filled with surprise. If I were you, I would try the velocity chart for leadership stage pet beasts now. Su Ran smiled. Maybe it can overtake others by a shortcut. Chapter 305, 187, The Velocity Chart's Plunge Again. You're welcome to visit us again, Tilda. Standing at the door of the pet adoption shop, Su Ran couldn't help but smile as he watched Shang Xin happily leave, cuddling the linglong butterfly. The satisfied departure of the first client of the Starfare foster care shop in Zion City was a good sign. What about those 2 customers who came yesterday? Well, they don't count. Su Ran didn't have to wait long for the second customer to step into the shop. He was a young man who, judging from his clothing, belonged to a rich family. However, he looked somewhat worn out. He walked in alone, looked at Su Ran and asked, "Excuse me, do you offer pet care services here?" "Yes, we do," stood up Su Ran. "What kind of pet beast do you need to foster?" "Isn't it a bit expensive?" Rather than answering Su Ran's question, the young man's attention got drawn to the price tag on the wall of the shop, making him slightly frown. "It's my first time hearing about payment in Beast Master Points for foster services." "Beast Master Points as payment?" Su Ran looked at the young man with surprise. Within the shop, only beast fostering services for general-level and king-level pet beasts require payment in Beast Master Points. Is this young man complaining casually, or are the pet beasts he is going to foster of such high levels? He looked slightly younger than Su Ran himself. It wasn't possible that the power of his contract had reached such a degree, was it? "Let me take a look at your fostering environment first." The young man didn't leave because of the price. He turned to the door. "Come in." Roared Tilda. Accompanied by a low growl, a human-shaped pet beast, emitting wild and ferocious breath and about 4 meters in height, walked step by step into the shop from outside the door. Its limbs were similar to those of humans, but were extraordinarily muscular, and it was covered in thick fur. It didn't have a separate head. Its facial features were situated in the middle of its body, surrounded by mottled scars, many of which looked like they had just healed. And its aura. Su Ran couldn't help but take a deep breath. The Sui stage. "This is your pet beast?" He could not help but ask out loud due to the surprise. "No," the young man shook his head. "Is there a rule that one can only foster their own pet beast?" "There isn't such a rule." Su Ran looked again at the ferocious-looking beast following the young man. It didn't look like it had been forced to come, and the young man likely didn't have the power to do that. As such, he decided not to inquire further. "Please follow me, I will show you our fostering area." Gathering his thoughts, Su Ran led the young man and his pet through the back door towards the foster area. "So there's an underground area." Walking through the underground passage, the young man seemed to suddenly understand. He had thought that the shop only had the exterior areas and didn't look like a place that offered foster services. Turns out this was the case. Our shop has another world hidden inside. Su Ran smiled slightly, casually taking a system identification of the beast following behind the young man. With the myriad of evolutions of the pet beasts, it was impossible for him to identify many of the evolved pet beasts, so he had to rely on the system. Race name, Combat Furball. Attribute, Fighting. Growth stage, General Stay. Body type, Large. Washing and protection require. Su Ran didn't need to look at the washing and protection requirements, so this guy is called Combat Furball. Su Ran couldn't help but take another look at the Combat Furball, who was following behind the young man. It didn't look aggressive. On the contrary, much like the young man, it appeared to be in a rather low mood. "May I ask, how did you find out about our shop?" Su Ran asked casually. "My home is nearby. I just happened to pass by." Though the young man didn't seem much interested in chatting, he answered Su Ran's question. "Your shop is the first one I've seen that asks for Beast Master Points as payment for general stage foster services. Quite an eye-opener." Seeing the young man's reluctance to talk further, Su Ran didn't push, but he couldn't help but feel a bit more curious. Once you reach the general stage, king stage, or even higher growth stages, the value of the daily feeding resources becomes quite high. Of course, for beast masters of corresponding levels, they can generally afford this type of expenditure. How do the other foster shops in Xi'an City, who don't take beast master points for payment, do it? Seems like after understanding more about Xi'an City, he needed to check on this. After all, the scale and tier of foster shops in big cities are higher. There should be some reference points to learn from. While they were talking, they had already reached the first underground level. Gazing at the wide, seemingly never-ending foster space in front of him, the young man's face showed shock for the first time. This is space expansion technology. Yes, Su Ran nodded calmly. Our shop uses space expansion technology. We can plan a suitable living space for each fostered pet beast to ensure they have plenty of room. Additionally, we customize the daily feed. Initially, the young man, who thought payment in beast master points was outrageous and had absolutely no plans of keeping the Combat Furball here, was now showing some hesitation. He looked at Combat Furball and then gritted his teeth. "All right. I'll foster for half a month first." Half a month. Su Ran quickly did the mental math. The daily foster fee for a general stage pet beast is 266 beast master points. For half a month, it would be 3,990 beast master points. Very good. If more customers like this come, there will be a new source of beast master points. Chapter 306, 187. The velocity charts plunge again. As expected from a major city, the possibility of fostering a general stage pet beast did not exist in Qingzhou City. The only two general-level beast masters present had no need for such a service. "All right," Su Ran nodded, took out the control hub, and designated a foster area for the Combat Furball in the presence of each pet owner. He then made adjustments to the terrain and environment according to their suggestions. "The Combat Furball can move in now. I'm coming with you to make the payment. Please take good care of it." The young man looked at Su Ran and then gently patted the fluffy body of the Combat Furball. "It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself for my father's issues. I'll pick you up in half a month." Roar! Combat Furball stretched out its strong arms, gently hugged the young man, and the eyes that seemed to always radiate with ferocity became gentle. "It seems like there's a story there." Su Ran couldn't help but stroke his chin. The Combat Furball's low spirits might impact his accumulation of pleasure value, right? For the sake of pleasure value, it's time to become a spiritual mentor. Tab. Standing in front of the beast trainer ranking, a hint of hesitation appeared on Shang Xin's face. But soon, the hesitation turned into determination. "We will make it onto the list, Linglong Butterfly." She looked at the Linglong Butterfly in her arms and whispered. "Hiss." The Linglong Butterfly's antennae trembled lightly, making a slight sound, and it fluttered out of Shang Xin's arms, circling around her twice. Its stunning appearance attracted quite a crowd. Shortly after the successful entry verification at the entrance, Shang Xin and her pet headed straight to the current leadership stage pet beast's velocity chart. Standing in front of the velocity chart, Shang Xin couldn't help but take a deep breath. "Let's go, we are going to." "Oh, if it isn't Shang Xin." A sarcastic voice from the side made Shang Xin's face darken slightly. She turned her head and, as expected, saw a familiar face. Hu Huafei, after so many years, you're still the sardonic sissy. Who are you calling a sissy? Hearing Shang Xin's words, a tall man in a half-open shirt walking towards them, his face instantly turned gloomy. Whoever gets angry is the sissy. Shang Xin calmly stared at the man. A tense atmosphere emerged between the two. After a standoff, Hu Huafei snorted and showed a mocking smile. Face the facts, velocity chart is not the place for you. Scram to your defense and combat power lists. Oh right, Hu Huafei chuckled. I heard that the mysterious beast master who was causing a stir last night suppressed you on both lists. It's mutual. Shang Xin pointed at the current velocity chart. Your current third spot has now become the fourth, hasn't it? But you're on 2 lists, Hu Huafei shot back, and your loss is bigger than mine. Shang Xin. She really couldn't refute that. The man in front of her was causing Shang Xin a fair amount of irritation. Their animosity started when they were still elite-level beast masters, and the velocity chart had everything to do with it. The Linglong butterfly was Shang Xin's second pet. During the elite-level beast master phase, its butterfly wings were not as damaged as now, and it had an impressive speed. It helped Shang Xin secure a good spot on the elite-level pet beasts velocity chart, still ranking in the top 500 of the historical rankings. At that time, the pet beast of another beast master had a speed comparable to Linglong butterfly S. The two kept trading spots on the chart, often being overtaken and then taking the lead again. Their ranks were always close. Those who love and hate each other on the chart usually either become friends because of familiarity, or they completely fall out and become enemies. Shang Xin and Hu Huafei were the latter. However, the good times did not last. As time passed, the condition of the Linglong butterfly worsened, and Shang Xin's rank was left further and further behind by Hu Huafei's pet beast. She finally gave up the struggle for the velocity chart and concentrated her efforts on other charts. By the time she reached the leadership level, Shang Xin had never even visited the velocity chart. However, Hu Huafei's formidable talent had allowed him to surge to the third spot on the leadership level's velocity chart. Oh, now he's fourth. Hiss. Just as Shang Xin was unsure of how to respond, the Linglong butterfly next to her suddenly let out a soft hiss. It naturally remembered the beast master of the pet beast it had been competing with on the ranking chart during the elite-level beast master period. At this moment, it sensed the other party's ridicule and contempt, and the anger and helplessness of its beast master, and a towering fighting intention was already kindled in its heart. Even its beautiful, crystal-like eyes became sharp. Coming back to reality by the sound of her own pet beast, Shang Xin's eyes gradually brightened. She turned her head to look at Hu Huafei, who was preparing to laugh at her, and suddenly spoke. Let's make a bet, what do you say? Hu Huafei raised an eyebrow. He was all too familiar with those words, because betting had always been something he loved to do. Back when they were at the elite level, he and Shang Xin had made many bets on the ranking of the velocity chart, and each time he was the one who initiated it. When did it become Shang Xin's turn to propose a bet? What's the wager? Hu Huafei's eyes flashed with amusement as he pointed to the current velocity chart beside him. Don't tell me you're betting on your rank in this chart. Correct, Shang Xin nodded. I'm betting that I can make it to the top 50. The stake is 1,000 beast master points. As she said this, her heart was pounding. The competition on the velocity chart had been fierce lately. She had never tried to break into the chart before, and attempting to make it into the top 50 would be a significant challenge for her Linglong butterfly. After all, not everyone was a freak who hustled under the pseudonym Starfear Foster. But she just didn't want to see Hu Huafei looking smug. Plus, this was also the goal that the Linglong butterfly had just told her. It seems I can make a small fortune today, I'm in. Hu Huafei chuckled, showing no hesitation. It's been a few years, but you've become more impulsive. Whether I'm impulsive or not, you'll find out soon. Having received Hu Huafei's confirmation, Shang Xin, with her Linglong butterfly, made her way to testing field C-23 without looking back. A few minutes later, accompanied by a clear electronic sound echoing throughout the venue, the current leadership stage pet beast velocity chart lit up brightly. Hu Huafei, who had been standing in front of the leaderboard waiting, furrowed his brows slightly. What was going on? It was Shang Xin's score. Could this woman actually make it to the leaderboard? He glanced at the speed of the newly lit 500th place, then at the speed of the 50th place, and felt a little more certain after comparison. Even if this woman made it to the leaderboard, she was still far from the top 50. It was extremely difficult to increase one's speed once it reached a certain level. Seeing the name that lit up a second after the 500th place disappeared, Hu Huafei's breath came to an abrupt halt. This. From the 499th place to the 5th place, a total of 495 names lit up at the same time, then moved down one spot. It was so close. He, currently ranked 4th, was just a tiny bit away from having his ranking light up too. Before he could recover, that familiar yet strange name appeared below his ranking. 5th place, Shang Xin, Linglong Butterfly Speed, 324.6 ms. How is this possible? How is this possible? Looking at Shang Xin's ranking right next to his own, Hu Huafei's breathing rapidly became ragged, flashes of sky thunder exploding in his mind. Didn't her Linglong Butterfly go to waste back when they were at the elite level? Why? Ah, what a pity. A voice with a touch of mockery appeared next to Hu Huafei. Shang Xin, holding the aloof Linglong Butterfly whose wings had become even more dazzling, appeared next to Hu Huafei, her expression somewhat regretful. If I knew this would happen, I would have betted on the top 5. She glanced at Hu Huafei. If I were to bet on the top 5, someone wouldn't hesitate to take the bet, even for 10,000 beast master points, right? Hu Huafei was at a loss for words. He glared fiercely at Shang Xin. Don't get too smug, your ranking is still below mine. Then let me officially inform you. Shang Xin's smile faded, and a fierce determination flickered in her eyes. From now on, your ranking on the velocity chart is not going to be stable. Chapter 307, 188, is the lucky fish's sister also a lucky fish? You wait and see. Pointing at Shang Xin, Hu Huafei turned and walked away. Admittedly, he felt a strong sense of crisis from the rankings. There was no time to be complacent. In order to secure his rank before the weekly settlement, he must immediately proceed with a more rigorous training with his pet beast. Watching Hu Huafei's departing figure, a rich smile spread in Shang Xin's eyes. Although the rankings of both the combat power and defense lists had dropped due to the mysterious beast master, thanks to him, she found Starfire Foster Care Shop. Not only was there a washing and protection service to help the Linglong Butterfly thoroughly clean its wings, but she also landed at 5th place in the velocity chart, where she hasn't appeared for a long time. Adding things up this week's settlement. If she could keep her rank steady, the settlement reward would not decrease, but rather it would be somewhat higher than before. Speaking of which, suddenly, Shang Xin seemed to remember something and quickly pulled out her cell phone to dial a number. Hello, Sister Xin, have you been to Starfire Foster Care Shop? There was a slightly naive voice from Su Li on the other end of the phone. Yes, Shang Xin's eyes were full of smiles. She remembered. This girl, who was 7 or 8 years younger than her, had become acquainted with her because they both had contracted a very rare pet beast, the Linglong Butterfly. So, Su Li, take your Linglong Butterfly to Starfire Foster Care Shop. You'll be surprised. 90 beast master points have been transferred. The young man completed the transfer of the beast master points. He couldn't help but look at Su Ran and reminded again, I hope you will take good care of it for the next half-month. Rest assured, I will do my best to make each pet beast in the shop feel at home. Su Ran spoke earnestly, then changed his tone. However, I feel there's more to your fosterage. If possible, I hope you can tell me the specifics. Su Ran paused. It will help me to better take care of the pet beast. Perhaps moved by Su Ran's last sentence, the young man opened his mouth after a brief hesitation. I don't really like talking about my family matters, but for combat verbal, I will briefly explain. He paused, seemed to be sorting out what he wanted to say, then slowly began. My name is Zhou Qi. My father is a general-level beast master, and combat verbal is his pet beast. Su Ran nodded slightly. Through the conversation between Zhou Qi and combat verbal just now, he had vaguely guessed this possibility. If not for that, a general stage pet beast would hardly be so close to a young man who was not its own beast master. My father is a member of the hunting squad outside the city. He hunts down the extraordinary beings outside to earn the resources needed by the family. Su Ran couldn't help but rub his ears. General-level beast master, a member of the hunting squad. This gave him, who had dealt with the tiger hunting squad in Qingzhou City many times, a surreal feeling. So this is what a second-level town is like. No wonder he always felt that the elite level, Leadership beast masters here seemed to have nothing to do and could afford to be onlookers in front of the ranking boards. So leadership level is still in the novice village, huh? Zhou Qi's narration continued, and Su Ran quickly suppressed his chaotic thoughts and continued to listen. The extraordinary beings outside the city are very dangerous. Some days ago, my father and his hunting squad were ambushed by a small group of general stage extraordinary beings. Several people were seriously injured, a few pet beasts fell, and the loss was heavy. My father is one of those who lost his pet beast. Zhou Qi's expression became more gloomy. He had a pet beast since I was a kid. It left us forever in that battle. I'm sorry for your loss. Su Ran took a deep breath. A look of sympathy emerged on his face. And your father? His life is not in danger, but he's also seriously injured. Due to the backlash of his pet beast's fall, he's now in a coma and is expected to wake up in about half a month. Half a month? Su Ran had a hunch, but he still needed to ask more to confirm. So why send combat furball out for fosterage? Because it feels guilty. Zhou Qi spoke softly. Combat furball's evolutionary previous species was Fiery Bun, a powerful but flawed character in the combat attribute. I know that, Su Ran nodded. Although he didn't know combat furball, Fiery Bun was a species also owned by someone in Qingzhou City and had been sent to Starfare Foster Care Shop for washing and protection. As a combat attribute pet beast naturally possessing 4 2-star skills, Fiery Bun's potential was beyond question. But as the species' name suggested, it had a very fiery temperament and could explode over small things. What's more, it had a 1-star skill named Frenzy. That was the same frenzy that Su Ran wanted to merge with Xian's Blood Fury before, but it didn't pan out. After combat furball evolved, it became more steady to a certain extent, but the fiery temperament was still there. It could be triggered under certain special circumstances. The day they were ambushed, its hidden fiery temperament was triggered. Although this enhanced its power to some extent, it lost the most important orderliness in the hunting squad, and a hole appeared in the squad's defensive formation. Because of this, some people in the squad were very dissatisfied with combat furball, and combat furball was feeling very guilty about it. Zhou Qi's eyes flickered with pain. In the 2 days since father's coma, it had a severe emotional trauma. Chapter 308, 188. Is the lucky fish's sister also a lucky fish? Combat furball and I have grown up together. It's my family, so I hope it can temporarily leave its home surroundings. Once my father wakes up, everything will be fine. I believe that my father is not blaming it either. The combat furball listens to my father the most. By that time, it will certainly become cheerful again. I've got a clear idea of the situation, Su Ran nodded slightly, his eyes full of sympathy for combat furball. Don't worry, I will take good care of it. He took a breath as he watched Zhou Qi leave. This resident is a tricky one. Loss of sanity due to innate character flaws, leading to irreparable consequences. It was its fault, but it wasn't intentional. And that is precisely the root of combat furball's self-blame. To make it cheerful again, a way to keep it from reverting to that state must be found. So, Su Ran rubbed his chin. Does such a method exist? Su Ran, I'm back again. Hearing the familiar voice outside the door, Su Ran quickly snapped back to reality. He'd have to think about how to help combat furball later. We should first solve the problem at hand. You're not here for grooming, are you? Seeing Qin can stride into the store, Su Ran rubbed his forehead helplessly. Although I've promised to groom your pet beasts for free 3 times, frequent grooming isn't good for them, so I won't accept it this time. No problem, it's fine. Qin gave a hearty laugh, a hint of barely perceptible pain flickering in his eyes. He then took a step aside, revealing a slender figure standing behind him. Let me introduce, this is my sister Qin Yue. Oh, Su Ran nodded, then realizing the name sounded familiar, his voice sharply went up, huh? You're quite capable, young man. You even squeezed me out of the historical velocity chart for the leadership stage. Qin Yue walked over with a smile and patted Su Ran's shoulder. You're much better than my useless brother. Ahaha tilde, Su Ran forced out a laugh, sweat trickling down his back. What a small world. Was a general-level big shot at his doorstep now. He couldn't help but recall the crowd's discussion about this woman from their spectating session yesterday. A big devil, hot-tempered. He stole her ranking. She wouldn't beat him up for it, would she? Thinking of this, Su Ran gave Qin a resentful look. The town's lucky fish sure is a scam, isn't it? My brother told me you promised him a free grooming service 3 times for each of his 3 pet beasts, Qin Yue coughed softly, which makes a total of 9 free grooming times, right? That's right, Su Ran nodded. All right then. Qin Yue patted his shoulder. You can deduct 4 times from his total and arrange it for my 4 pet beasts. Huh? Su Ran looked at Qin Kan. Qin Kan, standing behind Qin Yue, showed off an ugly smile that was worse than crying. Just do as my sister said. All right, Su Ran nodded. The fact that they weren't causing him trouble made him feel a lot better. The concern of his pseudonym being later exposed had also decreased. The only thing he regretted was he was at a slight loss. He promised Qin Kan free grooming because Qin Kan was the town's lucky fish, which could be used to lure him into the shop more often, giving himself numerous opportunities to catch the lucky aura. If Qin Yue used some of the sessions, naturally, Qin Kan would visit the shop less often. Forget it, he'll worry about that later. You can summon the pet beasts that need grooming now. Sure, Qin Yue nodded, and the hexagram star array behind her flickered with waves of energy causing a storm. In the storm, a dragon pet beast with a slender form and green streamlined scales flew out, flapping its wings. Hey! This green-scaled dragon pet beast just flew out and gave Su Ran a dissatisfied look, a hint of annoyance on its face. Haha, this is my pet beast, the Gale Dragon. The ranking you stole on the historical board belonged to it. Qin Yue laughed when she saw this, then explained. Su Ran's mouth twitched slightly. She had summoned the Gale Dragon first. This woman must be doing this on purpose, right? Race name, Gale Dragon. Attribute, Wind Attribute. Growth stage, General Stay. Size, large-sized. Maintenance need. Evaluation. The arrogant little female dragon has not yet realized that she has become a captive. The host must use his graceful hands to let her fully understand who is the master here. Little dragoness captive. The system is getting better and better at using words. Despite developing enough resistance to the system's nonchalant reviews, Su Ran couldn't help but twitch at the corners of his mouth, then turning to the Gale Dragon, "Come with me." "Wait, I'm coming too." Qin Yue chuckled and followed him into the grooming room. On the way here, she heard from her little brother that this shop had actually used space expansion technology in the grooming room. She had not seen such an advanced technology many times and naturally wouldn't miss the chance to have a look. As she entered the grooming room, as expected, Qin Yue was startled by the much larger space inside than outside. But after seeing Su Ran start diligently preparing the Gale Dragon for grooming, she suppressed her urge to yell out in surprise, pulled up a little stool, and sat in the corner, watching Su Ran's grooming process carefully. Soon, a strange sound, fraught with a hint of whining, as if it couldn't help but escape after forcibly suppressing it, echoed endlessly in the grooming room. Oh, tilde. Watching Su Ran's serious grooming movements and her Gale Dragon's infatuated gaze, Qin Yue, who had witnessed the whole process, was thoroughly stunned. What's going on? After completing the grooming process for the Gale Dragon, Su Ran opened his personal panel and was shocked. Wind driving. A new 3-star skill had emerged in his pet beast skill column through fur plucking. Following the 3-star skills he got from Qin Kan yesterday, the first plucking session of the day has resulted in another 3-star skill. And this 3-star skill came from Qin Kan's sister. So was this a coincidence or? Su Ran rubbed his chin and turned to look at Qin Yue, who was looking at her Gale Dragon back and forth with a satisfied expression. The second pet beast can be groomed now. All right, Qin Yue's eyes flashed with excitement. If she had some doubts about the grooming effects that Qin can praise to the skies before coming for grooming, even after seeing the post-grooming conditions of his several pet beasts, after grooming her Gale Dragon, she was thoroughly convinced. Such grooming effects surpassed all the foster shops in Xian City. And this was a newly opened store. Come on, time to groom my second pet beast. Qin Yue cheerfully spoke, while the hexagram star array behind her lit up again. She recalled her Gale Dragon and a human-shaped pet beast, about 3 meters tall and wielding a thunderbolt lance, walked out of the storm. It was a thunder attribute king species, the Crimson Lightning General. Take care. Standing at the door of the fosterage shop, Su Ran waved goodbye to the beaming and satisfied Qin Yue, his face also shining with a smile. All 4 of Qin Yue's pet beasts had been successfully plucked. In 2 days, he has gained 7 new 3-star skills. The lucky fish of Xi'an City certainly delivered. She even purchased one and got one free. At first, he suspected that this fortune had little to do with Qin Yue and was purely because Qin Can, the lucky fish of Xi'an City, was present. However, halfway through grooming the third pet beast, Qin Can temporarily left the store due to other business, and it did not affect the plucking of the third and fourth pet beasts at all. This was enough to prove that the 4 3-star skills he attained from Qin Yue's 4 pet beasts had nothing to do with Qin Can. There can be 2 lucky fishes. Moreover, there's another piece of good news. Among Qin Yue's 4 pet beasts, 2 of them belong to the Thunder attribute and the Dark attribute. Added to Qin Can's Earth attribute pet beast, the 7 3-star skills from plucking fit perfectly to give his 3 pet beasts each an additional new skill. 2 lucky fishes from one family benefited 3 little ones. I'll update more chapters tomorrow. Chapter 309, 189 Release of Extract Jade Beastmaster Report. Meow tilde, I'm not used to having 2 less hours of training time. After finishing her 6-hour training, Xi'an walked out of the training area with a look of melancholy on her face. Previously, when she was at the Starfair foster care shop in Qingzhou City, thanks to teacher Tony's accompaniment, each pet beast's maximum stay in the training area per day was increased from 6 hours to 8 hours. Now, without the system staff in the new shop, the training efficiency has fallen back to what it was. Xilu tilde, but we can go and challenge ourselves on the beast trainer ranking. Star Winid. Compared to Xi'an, it saw more advantages. Although it was 2 hours less per day for training, the other benefits of being in Xi'an City were greater for the 3 little ones, so it was largely advantageous for them. Charming. I was just considering what to exchange for the beast master points I earned yesterday. Can twisted her body, her eyes filled with anticipation. The beast master points reward for the historical rankings wasn't instantly credited once the corresponding rank was achieved. The Beast Master Association had a verification process which was completed within 24 hours. If they calculated the time, it should arrive today. Yesterday evening, while Su Ran was deep in meditation, the 3 little ones huddled together studying what resources could be exchanged using Su Ran's cell phone. Even though the points hadn't been credited yet, they had to do their homework in advance. Hearing Cancan's words, Xi'an and Star also had expectant looks in their eyes. Counting the points that hadn't yet been credited, they each had over 10,000 Beast Master points. These Beast Master points could be used to exchange not only martial-level resources, but also king-level resources. There's a significant difference between king-level resources and martial-level resources. First of all, the energy they provide is much stronger. King-level resources, derived from king-level extraordinary beings, are 5-10 times stronger in energy intensity than martial-level, allowing the 3 little ones to absorb them for a longer time and progress to the perfect leadership stage faster and enter the accumulation stage. Secondly, and more importantly, most king-level resources have a feature that most martial-level resources do not possess. Previously, Xi'an obtained a martial-level resource known as the Cracked Claw Bone, which gives the absorber a small chance of gaining a 3-star skill. Unfortunately, Xi'an did not gain the corresponding skill from the resource. Such a feature is relatively rare in martial-level resources, and even if it does exist, the chances of gaining it are small, as was with the Cracked Claw Bone. However, with king-level resources, the chance of gaining the corresponding 3-star skill of the extraordinary being when it was alive is extremely high. This occurrence is related to the skill proficiency of the extraordinary being itself. The skill proficiency corresponding to the king-level growth stage is the halo level. Upon reaching the halo level, the skill gets a significant boost, creating a closer connection with the extraordinary being itself and more deeply inscribing it into the body and the bloodline. From this point on, the skill can be manipulated more flexibly and has a chance to be developed at a deeper level. At this time, the resources produced by the extraordinary being after its fall would leave traces of the corresponding skill, making it easier for the pet being that absorbs it to sense and master the skill through these traces. Previously, they were limited by Beast Master points, but now they have enough. When choosing between martial level and king level resources, the 3 little ones don't need to think about it. Unthinkingly choosing king level is the right answer. Xilu tilde, with my points, I can even exchange for 2 of the most expensive king level resources. Star Winid, her eyes filled with a few points of anticipation. Yesterday, she spotted several dark attribute resources. As soon as the points are credited, she'll exchange for them. Meow tilde, damn it. Hearing Star's words, Xian's little face fell. Yesterday, Star received 80,000 Beast Master points, while she only got 10,000. Adding to the previous points she had saved, she could only exchange for the poorer king-level resources. The ones she had her heart set on costed too much. So, meow, let's go to Beast Trainer ranking later. Xian gritted her teeth, her eyes filled with fighting spirit. What about the historical rankings? She'll try all the lists. There must be a place where she can get Beast Master points. Charming, I'll come too. Can nodded her head vigorously. Having only 5,000 more points than Xian, she felt the crisis as well. Now that the resource distribution cycle has lengthened, they have to rely more on themselves if they want to get stronger. As the three little ones were talking, they entered the foster area and quickly discovered the first living area that appeared there. Charming, we have a new neighbor. Surprise and anticipation appeared on Can's face. She moved her feet and quickly headed in that direction. Xian and Star exchanged a glance and followed closely behind. Before the three little ones even got close, a rather domineering breath surged from the living area. The next second, combat furball appeared. The horrific atmosphere of the martial level made the three little ones change their face in unison. Their own aura exploded as they prepared to fight the enemy. However, in the next moment, the pressure from this breath dissipated, and the look of fierceness in combat furball's eyes was forcibly retracted, replaced by a deep sense of regret. Chapter 310, 189 Release of Extract Jade Beastmaster Report. Roar. Sorry, I got carried away again. The three little ones looked at me. I looked at them, each of us gathering ourselves. Meow, are you okay? Looking at the disheartened expression on combat furball's face, Xian swallowed the things he was about to say and began to ask out of curiosity. Combat furball wobbled its body a little. Roar tilde. I'm fine. It's just that I had made a big mistake due to impulsiveness before, so I'm always reminding myself to control my emotions. Having said that, combat furball nodded its body upwards and downwards towards the three little ones before turning around and going back to its living area. This made the three little ones, who originally planned to chat with the new resident, give up the idea. After all, this general stage little guy didn't seem too friendly. Can uplifted one of its claws and swung it forward with force. Sure tilde, next we go to the Beast Trainer ranking. Welcome to our shop tilde. Seeing another customer coming in, Suran had a courteous smile on his face. There were already 5 or 6 new customers who came in today. Although it was incomparable to the bustling scene at Starfair Foster Care Shop in Kingju City, the instant effect of advertising was so evident that he was very satisfied with the advertisement last night. The new customer was a teenager with an explosive hairstyle. As soon as he entered the shop, his gaze found Suran right away. Are you the mysterious beast master who rushed the ranking yesterday? No comment, Suran smiled a little. This question had been asked by several customers earlier. And he hasn't. HMPH, the newspaper has said it all, it's you. After hearing Suran's reply, the teenager rolled his eyes and shook the newspaper in his hand. Newspaper? Suran's smile ceased for a moment, looking at the newspaper that the teenager was waving around in his hand. The Extract Cloud Beastmaster reports big characters were distinctly visible to the eye. Oh. He almost forgot about the interview with Yu Changming yesterday. Today the Starfair Foster Care Shop would appear in the Extract Cloud Beastmaster report. How long has this newspaper been on sale? Suran couldn't help but ask. Just released, still warm. The teenager smiled. Stop pretending, I knew it was you. I suspected it was you when I saw you at the chart yesterday. Oh, this teenager was at the scene yesterday. Well, it's me. Suran shook his head helplessly. Can I take a look at that newspaper? Sure, here you are, but you have to give it back after you read it. I have not finished reading it yet. The teenager with the explosive hairstyle cheerfully handed over the newspaper. Sure, Suran nodded, took the newspaper and read it carefully, soon shaking his head in disappointment. Not on the front page. Although he rushed the ranking quite fast, in a big city like Xian City, such incidents would not make into the main headline, unless he surpassed the historic achievement of Chairman Fang. Then maybe there's a sliver of possibility. It was on the 3rd page that Suran saw the related news about Starfare Foster Care Shop. Yu Changming described the situation of Starfare Foster Care Shop, and all the contents were the questions he asked last night. With the exposure of these contents, his true identity has naturally been exposed too. Well, let it be exposed. Su Ran shook his head helplessly. He didn't plan to hide his identity for long. Before this, he was a little concerned that Qin Yue would cause trouble for him. Now that he discovered Qin Yue is the second imp from Xian City, he wishes that Qin Yue would show up more often, so naturally he wouldn't worry about it. But Su Ran had a thought. The newspaper has been released, then the fame of the shop. Here's your newspaper back. Su Ran handed the newspaper back to the teenager with the explosive hairstyle, while casually opening the task panel to have a look. Main Task 3, out with the old and with the new. Task description. Please host open a branch in second-level town, and its local fame reaches 70%, 7.370. Task rewards. System Clerk X3, System Upgrade Experience plus 400. The fame has doubled from last night, already completed a tenth of the task progress. And while Su Ran was checking, the progress increased by 0.2. This shows that the Extract Cloud Beastmaster report still has great potential. After all, it has just been released recently, and there is still a lot of room for growth. That's good, very good. Thinking that he was getting closer to completing Main Task 3, the smile on Su Ran's face became even brighter. He turned his head and looked at the teenager with the explosive hairstyle at his side. Since you're here, need any service? Oh, the teenager with the explosive hairstyle scratched his head. He only saw the content in the newspaper, so he came to ask Su Ran for confirmation as soon as possible. As for shopping at the Foster shop, he really didn't plan on it. However, for some reason, when he heard Su Ran say, "You've come all the way here," he felt like trying out the service. Then let's give it a try, the young man said, turning to glance at the price list at the side. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Goodbye, the young man turned around and left. With these prices, there's no way Li Yashin could afford to shop here. Watching the young man's retreating figure, Su Ran shook his head reluctantly. Well, if the price scares him off without even wanting to try once, there have previously been quite a few customers like this. Now that the newspaper has been sold, more customers should come, right? Just as Su Ran was thinking this, the enthusiastically charged 3 little ones walked out from the back door. Meow, did the Beast Master points arrive yet? Xian approached Su Ran, her eyes gleaming as she asked the question. Not yet, it should be soon, Su Ran smiled. You're all headed to the Beast Trainer ranking. The 3 little ones nodded unanimously. Then go ahead, Su Ran spoke, pausing slightly. The newspaper featuring our store has just started selling, and more people are getting to know about Starfare Foster Shop. It's the right time for you guys to rank up. Meow Tilda, leave it to me. Xian nodded heavily, glanced at Star and Kankan beside her. Yesterday, these 2 juniors took all the limelight. Today it's her turn. Star and Kankan glanced at each other, a competitive look flashing in both their eyes. Even though they overshadowed Xian in the ranking yesterday, there are still many charts they haven't attempted yet. So they need to continue working hard today. Star took the Beast Master badge from the drawer behind the counter using his mouth and dashed out of the shop, followed by Xian and Kankan. The 3 little ones headed towards the Beast Trainer ranking. Watching them leave, Su Ran turned his gaze to a new customer who just walked in. The customer was silent for a moment before pointing at Su Ran and shouted, "Indeed, you are that mysterious Beast Master." Su Ran. Meow, who's going first? After successfully entering the Beast Trainer ranking with Su Ran's Beast Master badge, Xian looked at Star and Kankan, her eyes questioning. Xilu Tilda, I'll go try the defense chart first. Star let out a roar, taking the lead. Yesterday, when Kankan went a try, it felt an eager itch to give it a go as well. In its view, aside from the velocity chart, this is probably the most suitable chart for it. Sure, Tilda, the defense chart test will include 2 kinds of attacks, one that you suppress and one that suppresses you, gradually intensifying over time. Having already tried the defense chart, Kankan quickly provided a reminder, though it soon wore a thoughtful expression. How should the mutual suppression between the dark attribute and light attribute be calculated? Xilu Tilda got it. Star nodded to indicate it understood, then strutted towards the C07 testing area. Meow, shall we wait by the defense chart for its test results? Xian suggested, with a touch of curiosity in her eyes. Can nodded, and the two little ones familiarly went to the current leader stage pet beast defense chart. Looking at her name high up in second place, Can's eyes flashed with pride, her head held high. Then she got slapped by Xian. Meow Tilda, you're not even first yet, stay humble. Xian leisurely retracted her paw. If Can is acting arrogantly being in second place, what should she, who's third, do? Damn it. The two little ones started to wait, and Star, who had successfully entered the C07 testing area, began its own challenge. As complex and dark mysterious patterns covered its body, Star looked at the quickly converging light spears around it, its expression becoming gradually serious. Defense chart charge. Pulled a muscle in my neck. I plan to update 3 times today. Chapter 311, 190. It's never-ending, isn't it? Crack. With a flash of the light spear piercing through Star's night rune, a scattering of light spears dissipated in moments. Star, standing calmly in the center of the testing area, his somewhat chaotic aura was quickly restored to its peak by the heart of eternal night. A hint of regret flashed in his eyes, akin to purple crystals. He was just close to fending off all the light spears. Every light spear had the same strength. With the defense of the night rune, one line could resist one spear. The current night rune had 17 lines. Each use was capable of resisting 17 light spear attacks and could continuously be activated. Theoretically, this test didn't pose a great challenge to Star. But there were far too many light spears. As the test neared completion, light spears were pouring down like rain from all directions. Even with Star's endless stamina, continuously activating the night rune to resist became strenuous, leading to defense failures. Star, with his stamina restored to its peak, showed a hint of expectation in his eyes. The defense rankings had 2 rounds, one against a suppressed attribute and the other against a counter attribute. Dark and light attribute counter each other. Under this situation, the second round would have. Looking at the test zone now filled with floating purple-black energy orbs, the expectation in Star's eyes gradually turned into joy. The dark attack was undoubtedly better suited for showcasing its defensive capabilities. So where would he finally rank? Your pet beast washing and caring have been completed. In the Starfare foster care shop, Sue Ran emerged with the refreshed pet beast after its caring session, much to the astonishment of his customers. You're worthy of being my idol. Your caring level completely outclasses beast washing foster store. A young customer gave Sue Ran a thumbs up, eyes gleaming. Idol, rest assured, I'll visit repeatedly in the future. I really appreciate that. Sue Ran's mouth twitched slightly. The young man in front of him was called Songshi, the same customer who had recognized him while the 3 little ones were leaving. After confirming that he was the mysterious beast master from yesterday's competition, Songshi showed great enthusiasm, referring to him as an idol. It must be said, this was Sue Ran's first experience with such treatment. Idol, rest assured Songshi was about to say something when his phone rang. He answered it after a please wait gesture. Songshi soon let out an exclamation. What? 9th in the defense rankings. Immediately after, he turned his head, eyes sparkling as he looked at Sue Ran. What? Sue Ran seemed slightly stunned, then speculation crept into his eyes. Could it be? Idol, you're awesome. Songshi swiftly approached. Your star god horse ranked 9th in the defense rankings. Is that the black horse that left the shop earlier? Could I take a picture with it next time? Sure. Sue Ran forced a smile while a flicker of curiosity arose in his heart. It seemed like the 3 little ones had started their ranking competition. I wonder what places they'll get today. Sue Ran's gaze rested on the long knife hanging on the shop wall. Once business was finished for the day, there were still many leaderboards to compete on. Let's warm up with the 3 little ones first. 9th place, Starfare Foster Care Shop, Star God Horse Defense, 52,102. Seeing the updated leaderboard rankings, the watching crowd was thrown into uproar once again. It's that beast master from Starfare Foster Care Shop again. What's his backstory? You didn't read today's Extract Cloud Beastmaster report, right? This Beastmaster is the boss of Starfare Foster Care Shop. It's a newly opened foster shop. What, the boss of a foster shop has such skills? Where is this shop? Listening to the discussions going around, Xian and Can looked at each other. Meow, could I try the defense leaderboard? Seeing Star and Can successively obtaining good scores, Xian flexed his paw, a touch eager to give it a try. Though it doesn't possess a single skill that could serve as a defense skill. How are those words again? The best defense is a good offense. If your strength is high enough, you can use an attack as defense. Sure, perhaps you should try something else. Upon hearing this, Can's expression became strange. If he remembered correctly, the defense ranking rules are to withstand attacks without fighting back. If they could counterattack in the rank competition, why would there be a separation between defense and attack? Meow tilde, all right then. Watching Star returning casually, Xian stretched out his paw at him. Meow, let me try next. Xilu, okay. Looking up at his own ranking, Star felt a few moments of joy as he passed the Beast Master's badge to Xian. Since they only had one Beast Master's badge, the three little ones could only compete one at a time. Meow, now watch me. Badge in paw, Xian walked towards another leaderboard with a spring in his step. The interactions of the three little ones also garnered quite a bit of attention. These three seem to be the pet beasts of that Starfare foster care shop, right? Seems so, if they're here, where's that mysterious Beast Master? Chapter 312, 190, it's never-ending, isn't it? Do you think there's a chance that Beast Master is opening a shop? They all exchanged glances, and then someone growled out. We should follow, let's check it out together. This suggestion won many people's approval, and soon, the bystanders formed a large group, trailing behind the three little creatures. Meow tilde, these beast masters seem to be following us, huh? Can noticed first and tapped Star with her paw. Meow, let them follow. Xian, unruffled, raised her head slightly and swaggered at the front. Wouldn't it be better to rise in the ranks while others were watching? Soon, she stopped in front of one of the leaderboards. At the top of the leaderboard was the name of the list. Current power list of leadership stage pet beasts, reflexes. Reflexes were another indicator of a pet beast's strength, one that Xian was very confident in. Combat system pet beasts inherently have stronger reflexes than other beasts. Add to that Xian's thunder attribute, which gives her exceptional speed. The victory she had not achieved in the combat power list yesterday, she was going to take it all back through the reflexes list today. Xian's eyes landed on the current top of the leaderboard. First place, Chi Changhao, Lotus Mantis King, reflexes, 46,892. Perfect, today's target is you. Xian's gaze quickly slid from the top down to the bottom of reflexes list, settling on the indicator of the test site at the very bottom. C04. Testing ground C04 is over there. Amid the crowd gathered around, a girl volunteers to show the direction. Meow tilde. Xian nodded her thanks to the girl, transformed into an electric flash, and disappeared in a few quick movements. The girl gaped at the spot where Xian had disappeared, and then her eyes lit up. She is so stunning. Totally unaware of the impact her cool departure and exceptional looks made on a color-crazed girl, Xian soon entered the C04 testing area as she wished. The testing space was a sphere, with a circular platform in the center for the tested pet beast. According to the rules of the test, Xian needed to deactivate her size reduction. She grew from her tiny size to 2 meters in no time, exuding a strong sense of power. The next moment, the circular platform began to shrink. It quickly went from being hundreds of meters in size to a diameter of 4 meters. For Xian, such a space was almost squeezing her dodging room to the limit. Xian's expression gradually grew serious. She looked around, scrutinizing the numerous round holes embedded in the wall of the spherical testing space. Soon, with the start of the test, these holes would randomly strike attacks at her, and all she could do was keep dodging. This test made Xian remember the days when Su Ran first started training her, practicing electric pursuit. The similarities between the past training and the current test were striking. However, the current test is clearly much more challenging. Beep. As an electronic beep echoed in the testing area, Xian's muscles tightened beneath her fur. Her heterochromatic eyes flashed with an unmatched fierce light, and her pupils rapidly dilated, turning from needle-tip shape to circular. 16 holes on the spherical wall lit up simultaneously. The next moment, red energy spheres became traces, rushing towards Xian, wrapped in a roaring wind. Crackle! Electric light burst around Xian's body the next moment. She moved swiftly like electricity, dodging between the red lights. 3-star skill, full moon-level step on electric traces. Ever since this skill acquired the ability to gather electric light traces, Xian never deactivated it during the casting process. In reality, though, it is controllable. After all, this skill was initially a pure speed enhancement skill, without so many effects. Right now, abandoning some complicated skill effects, Xian maximizes the speed boost of this skill, combined with her horrifying response speed. Even when facing such oppressive attacks, she still seemed to handle it with ease. 17, 18, 19. The number of holes lighting up at once continues to increase, and even the speed of the attacks increases as the number of holes does. The difficulty of the test is escalating, and within this escalation, it's gradually approaching the tester's limit. From afar, all one could see was a surge of purple electricity on a platform, with a diameter of only 4 meters. Within the electricity, a white and purple entangled figure shimmered at a speed undetectable to the naked eye. Red lights like long spears stabbed into the electric light, but could not harm it at all. Beep! After an unknown period, another electronic beep resounded. Xian's figure suddenly freezes in midair, as a cloud of red smoke rapidly bursts at its waist. Hid! Despite its extreme speed, after a long time of dodging, Xian still has a few oversights. Meow, damn it! Discontent flickers in Xian's eyes. In its anticipation, it could have lasted longer. The reason for the mistakes now is due to its physical strength not being able to keep up with such a long duration of extreme consumption. If it were Star or Can here, this wouldn't have happened, would it? It can't help but entertain this thought. What if it arranges a stamina or recovery type skill for itself in the following skill fusion? Xian shakes its head, clears its train of thought, and then looks up at the words floating in the air. Reflexes, 49,326. A smile gradually appears on Xian's face. I, Xian, am proud and elated. Ding! As the familiar electronic sound rings, the current reflexes list lights up, and the spectators waiting in front of the list burst into cheers. Here it comes, the rankings are changing. Let's see how high that Flash Thundercat can climb. Wait, the historical rankings also lit up. My God, that's at least top 5, right? Amid the discussion and exclamations of the spectators, the current list's ranking begins to change. First, the 500th place drops off the list under the sympathetic eyes of the crowd. Ironically, this unlucky bastard is right on the spot. Seeing his gatekeeper status on the list disappear, he covers his chest in agony, his face showing a helpless expression. The loss of one place is the difference between receiving a reward or not. However, nobody in the field sympathizes or pays attention to his pain. Because as the first to the 499th place all releases light and then collectively fell one place, everyone on the field couldn't help but let out gasps of awe. This is a leap to the first place. It seemed to have happened once yesterday, and it happened again today. Is the boss of Starfair Foster Care Shop really so amazing? Why are you running a foster care shop if you're so strong? Amid the astonished and puzzled looks from the crowd, the new first place appears in the dazzling light. First place, Starfair Foster Care Shop, Flash Thundercat Reflexes, 49,326. After clearly seeing the corresponding reflexes value, everyone turns their heads to the historical rankings that have not changed and checks the reflexes value of every person on the list, determining Xian's position on the historical rankings. As the position on the historical rankings is determined, the atmosphere in the field suddenly falls into stagnation. This result, under everyone's silent gaze, the 500th place of the historical rankings dejectedly leaves, and then the 499th to the second place all lights up. Historical rankings, second place. Meow, I'm only second. Xian, backed by Stars and Can's side, has a look of both excitement and regret on its face. Being the second on the historical rankings means it can earn 80,000 Beast Master points. If it had advanced one more place, it could have gotten an additional 20,000 Beast Master points. However, this regret quietly disappears after seeing who the first place was, replaced by an upsurging battle intent. First place, Fang Kanghai, Speedy Winged Kite Reflexes, 52,123. It has seen numerous lists where this man holds the first place on the historical rankings. Xian turns to look at its two companions. Meow, I'll surpass him someday. Can't write anymore, As an apology, I'll send a 200 yuan red packet in the readers group at 12:30. Chapter 313, 191, Charging Rankings with Sword. Starfair Foster Care Shop, this must be the place. The sound came from outside the door, and soon a middle-aged beastmaster walked into the Starfair Foster Care Shop. Suran, who had just sat down shortly before, quickly stood up, his face breaking into a smile. Welcome. Ever since the three little ones went for the rankings, more and more customers had started coming to the shop. Some of these customers had seen articles about the Starfair Foster Shop in the Extract Cloud Beastmaster report, while others had noted the ranking efforts of the three little ones and had come for a nosy. The vast majority did not spend any money in the Starfair Foster Shop, but the small remainder made the shop lively and bustling. Any kind of exposure-induced popularity is temporary, but Suran firmly believes that he has the ability to retain this popularity and transform it into something else that attracts customers. Its reputation. Humph, don't bother with the pleasantries. The middle-aged man grunted, his expression sour. Your Flash Thunder Cat knocked me from the top spot on the reflexes list. First in reflexes. Suran blinked. When did this happen? Seeing Suran's baffled expression, Chi Changhong became even more frustrated. Ask your pet beast. I will ask. Suran used contractual sensing to contact Xian. Quickly, Xian's excited voice emerged in his mind. Suran's eyes soon filled with surprise. It actually achieved second place in the historical reflexes list. He had always thought that attack power was Xian's strongest attribute, but now it seemed that Xian's reflex speed was impressive too. Ahem. A heavy cough snapped Suran back to reality. Looking at the irritated Chi Changhong, Suran quickly flashed a smile. Sir, I understand your frustration, but there are ways to surpass my pet beast. What methods? Chi Changhong, initially vexed, showed curiosity. Do tell. The method is straightforward. Suran pointed at the price list for the accompanying training service on the wall. Our shop has a high-quality accompanying training service that can greatly increase your pet beast's training efficiency. Naturally, this would greatly enhance its reflexes. It sounds reasonable, but you're just advertising yourself, aren't you? Chi Changhong rubbed his chin. Considering how powerful Suran's three pet beasts were, he was somewhat convinced by his words. But as Chi Changhong turned his head and saw the prices on the price list, that seed of trust instantly evaporated. This shop is a ripoff, Chi Changhong grumbled. You're charging so much for a leadership stage accompanying practice. I don't believe people would. Squeak tilde. Before Chi Changhong could finish his sentence, the shop's back door opened. A young girl holding a rather petite pet beast walked out excitedly. Boss, your training method is incredible. My fluffy mouse's skill proficiency has broken through. Oh, you have a customer. The girl noticed Chi Changhong, stuck her tongue out. I won't disturb you then, I'll be back next time. We look forward to your next visit, Suran said with a smile as he waved goodbye. He then looked back at the silently fuming Chi Changhong. Silence is golden at such times. You. Chi Changhong opened his mouth to speak but finally strode towards the store's back door. Get me an hour of accompanying practice. No problem. Suran smiled and nodded, quickly following him. Another deal done. Meow tilde. I've just reported our ranking situation to Suran. Xian tossed the beast master badge he held in his mouth to Cancan, then began licking his paw. Meow, your turn. Well, let me think. Cancan's face showed a hint of confusion. Even though it had been clamoring to go for other rankings before coming here, now that it was here, it wasn't sure which ranking would suit it best. Velocity chart. For something as slow-moving as Cancan, this ranking was absolutely out of the question. Reflexes list. Xian had just told it and Star about what was tested in the reflexes list. With its large body and somewhat slow movements, it would be a sitting target in test area C04 without any room for maneuver. Cancan looked all around, finally locking its gaze on one direction. Taking unhurried steps, Cancan walked towards that list, with Xian and Star following behind, followed by a crowd of onlookers trying to catch the latest goss. Quickly, an electronic screen over 100 meters high appeared in front of everyone. This was a brand new list. Seeing its name, a wave of murmurs broke out among the onlookers. Unexpectedly, the Panlong Turtle had chosen this list. Current leader stage pet beast body size chart. Xian and Star, standing behind Cancan, exchanged surprised glances. They never expected there would be such a list among the leader stage pet beast rankings. They hadn't paid any attention to it before. Because this list, although as high as other leader stage lists, was much dimmer than the others, and so didn't stand out. This is an auxiliary list. It's less important than the main ones, so the rewards for topping it are only 1/5 of the normal lists. It's a sort of encouragement, someone explained. Chapter 314, 191, Climbing the Ranking with a Sword. Seeing Cancan's determination, as though prepared to win the rankings, a member of the audience couldn't help but remind them. The reward is 1/5 of those from previous lists. The three little ones collectively looked at the historical rankings next to the leaderboard in front of them. Their gaze shifted from bottom to top, eventually settling on the first place of the historical rankings. First place, Yue Cloud Gang, maximum body length, 62 meters. Charming, historical first place just like this. A hint of disdain flashed in Cancan's eyes as he casually marched toward the C09 test site corresponding to the rankings. First place on the historical rankings, that's decided. If it was a normal leaderboard, it could earn 100,000 Beast Master points in one go. Since this is a subsidiary leaderboard, it only gets as many points as 1/5 of a normal leaderboard, so it could get 20,000 Beast Master points, but who would think that points are redundant? Compared to the Beast Master points that are difficult to obtain from other battles, this wave of points is unbelievably easy to acquire. Xian and Star shook their heads slightly. This is Cancan's talent. It's not something that can be learned through envy. Compared to the main leaderboard, the movements of the subsidiary leaderboard are much more subtle. If there is a change in rankings, there will be no echoing bell sound in the entire field. Only the flickering lights of the current leaderboard and the historic leaderboard, symbolizing the change in ranking. Amidst the crowd's exclamation, the top spot of the current list changed hands first, followed by the historical list. Top spot on both lists. Looking at the terrifying body size that left the original first place far behind, the crowd couldn't help but discuss. That panlong turtle actually has such a huge physical size in real life, then why does it look so small? Yes, I remember the first place in the current list. When they came for testing, their pet beast almost got stuck at the entrance of the test site. You guys are all clueless. This is a 1-star reduction skill. The panlong turtle must master this skill, which is why it can shrink its size at will. Listening to everyone's discussion, Xian and Star helplessly shrugged. These guys, none of them guessed right. However, the two little ones couldn't help but look at the name of the first place in the historical rankings. First place, Starfare Foster Care Shop, Panlong Turtle, maximum body length, 108 meters. Although it is a subsidiary list and not a main list, letting Cancan, the last one to sign the contract, take the first place in the historical rankings still makes them a bit competitive. They are the elder ones. They need to fight harder to get up in the rankings. Charming, I'm back. Cancan, shrunken to the extreme by Jizumitsu, returned to the side of Xian and Star, holding his head high and looking at his name at the top of the electronic screen. Although he knew the result of this ranking rush before he started, seeing his ranking in such a high position, he couldn't help but feel even more delighted. 20,000 Beast Master Points secured. Although it is not as much as the Beast Master Points earned by Xian and Star, the points Cancan has are enough for him to exchange for 2 king-level resources he wants. Xilu Tilda, next is my turn. Star beckoned to Cancan, indicating Cancan to give him the Beast Master Badge. It already had an idea of which ranking list it is going for next. Welcome next time, Tilda. After seeing off the last customer in the shop, Su Ran relieved a sigh. Today, all kinds of services added up. The Foster shop received 21 clients, and the number of spectators was even more numerous. Such footfall in the Starfare Foster Care Shop in Kingju City was quite popular. Su Ran closed his eyes, sensing the existence of the three little ones regardless of distance, with the help of beast-taming contracts. Like 3 invisible lines, one end is connected to him, and the other end to the 3 little ones. Su Ran's consciousness is like a hand plucking strings, plucking these 3 lines. The next moment, he established contact with the 3 little ones. How did you 3 fare in the challenge? As soon as Su Ran's thoughts were transmitted, the 3 little ones started enthusiastically reporting their results from the other end of the beast-taming contract. During the day-long attempt to climb the leaderboards, Xian secured first place on the reflexes list, second place in its history, seventh on the velocity chart, third on the current attractiveness chart, and 14th in its history. The last chart Xian hadn't originally planned to try, but, on the recommendation of a casual bystander, it decided to give it a shot and ended up scoring some easy beast master points. Yes, it was the same person who was left dazed by Xian earlier on. Star secured ninth place on the current defense chart, second place on the stamina chart, and 58th in history, with the latter bringing in 30,000 beast master points. Can claimed the top spot on both the current and historical body size chart, and third on the current stamina chart, and 76th in history. Its high rank on both historical charts earned it 50,000 beast master points. The three little ones had quite a successful day of leaderboard climbing. Excellent, Su-ran opened his eyes slowly, a hint of eagerness swimming in them. Xian and Can, meet me at the beast trainer rankings area. Once he had given the order, he severed the contractual sensing and strolled over to a sword hanging on the wall, its handle wrapped in silk cloth. He carefully removed it as the hexagram star array behind him burst into dazzling light. Star emerged from thin air, and seeing Su-ran with the sword, a zealous look flickered in its eyes. Let's go. With a hop onto the horse, Su-ran and Star quickly vanished from in front of the Foster's shop. Standing shoulder to shoulder at the entrance of the beast trainer rankings, Xian and Can were intently gazing in the same direction, surrounded by a crowd of onlookers. These casual observers had been following the three little ones all the way, witnessing their impressive runs on the leaderboards. Seeing their unusual behavior now, they couldn't help but start whispering among themselves. Where did the Star God horse go? It seems like it was summoned by the owner of the Starfare Foster shop. Why are these two pet beasts still here? Are they going to climb the leaderboards again? Are you stupid? The Star God horse, currently first and third in history on the velocity chart, was called back. What else could be happening? It's a horse-type pet beast. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of it? You mean the mount? Is the owner of the Starfare Foster shop about to make an appearance? It's getting late. If they were going to open the shop, they should have done it by now, right? Damn it, all the shops are closed. Why are we still hanging around here? What a waste of a day. Well, what else could you do? Deliver goods outside the city. Everyone quiet, something's happening over there. The gossiping spectators fell into a flurry before quickly quietening down. Following Xian and Can's direction of gaze, they could see a separate shadow rushing from the end of the road, its figure clearly visible in the glow of the setting sun. Hee-haw! Almost in the blink of an eye, the shadow had reached them. Accompanied by a clear, excited neigh, the outline became sharp and defined. A pair of hooves were raised high before slowly touching the ground, revealing the young man sitting on Star's back to everyone present. The elegant young man was much younger than everyone had imagined. He was casually clothed in a short-sleeved t-shirt, with an ancient-looking long sword wrapped in silk cloth slung on his back. He held the reins in one hand while the other hand rested on the sword's handle. He dismounted. Though the action was simple, he made it seem especially graceful and composed. In his presence, the previously aloof and mysterious pet beasts appeared playful and endearing. So this was the mysterious beast master who emerged as a dark horse, the owner of Starfare Foster Care Shop. Within the crowd, some who had met Su-ran yesterday and recognized him looked enlightened. For most, however, their faces were filled with astonishment and surprise. Nice to meet you all, Su-ran, who had already learned of the situation from Star on the way, was not surprised at all. He smiled at the onlookers. Feel free to visit our Starfare Foster shop whenever you're free. After casually throwing in an ad, Su-ran took his hand off the sword handle and strode towards the beast trainer rankings entrance. Today, with a sword in hand, he was climbing the leaderboard. Chapter 2, Onward and Upward. Chapter 315, 192, topping the list with one strike. Entering the beast trainer ranking area, under the guidance of his three little ones, Su-ran viewed their daytime ranking records. In the process of touring, more and more people began to follow them. Many were unaware of why so many people were closely following such a leadership-level beastmaster. After asking, they learned that he was the mysterious beastmaster that sparked much discussion today, and consequently, they also became interested and decided to follow along to see. Soon, Su-ran and his three pets finished their tour and arrived at another ranking region. This ranking region was also for the leadership level, but the three little ones had not attempted it during the day. Because this was the Beast Master's ranking, not for leadership stage pet beasts. Now with Su Ran's arrival, they finally had the qualifications to try. Seeing Su Ran enter this area, the onlooking crowd became excited. Many even took out their cell phones and started contacting friends. While the pet beast ranking was certainly of interest, even more intriguing was the Beast Master's ranking, as it represented an overall assessment of a Beast Master's strength, presenting a more comprehensive perspective. Unlike the diverse and numerous pet beast rankings, there were only 3 categories and 6 rankings in the Beast Master list. The 3 categories are Beast Master's Individual Combat Power Ranking, Beast Master's Pet Beast Team Power List, and Beast Master Overall Power Ranking. The Beast Master's Individual Power Ranking, as it suggests, measures the combat power a Beast Master can deploy without their pet beast. For a leadership-level Beast Master, the 3rd stage contract power enables him to have a higher power feedback ratio. The cumulative feedback of 3 leadership-level pet beasts can grant him the strength similar to a weak leadership stage. Although a Beast Master's power primarily comes from the pet beasts, there are some who endeavor to enhance their personal strength, developing unique fighting methods. So the Beast Master's personal power ranking was born. Among the 3 lists, it was the least popular, with the other 2 rankings being more popular. The Beast Master's Pet Beast Team Power List, as the name suggests, ranks all of a Master's pet beast's collaborative efforts in battle. In the corresponding test for this list, the Beast Master can only command through contractual sensing and cannot participate in the fight himself. It evaluates the command ability of the Beast Master and the overall strength of the pet beasts. As for the last one, Beast Master Overall Power Ranking, it's the most straightforward list among the 3. Both Beast Masters and pet beasts can join the battle, and the rankings are determined based on their overall strength displayed. It reflects the Beast Master's ability closest to real combat situations, and is the most valued among the 3 Beast Master rankings. After all, the Beast Masters who can appear on this list are without exception powerful. They can step into Sui stage or even higher levels in the future. They will undoubtedly leave the guardianship of Xian City, confronting the boundless wild super creatures outside the city. Each category has 2 listings, the current one and the historical one. Su Ran's gaze fluttered among the 6 lists, eventually landing on the leader-level Beast Master's individual power historical rankings at the top of the list. First place Hihangtu, Battle Power, 32,442. This is the previous Grandmaster of his martial arts hall, a very famous Beast Master in Xian City known for developing personal strengths. As Su Ran's gaze landed on the name, someone in the crowd began to introduce him. Su Ran nodded slightly in their direction to express his gratitude. Then, he gently patted the hilt of his sword, a smile spreading across his face as a combat mentality welled up within his eyes. Let's go, we'll try this one first. Individual Power Huh. The blade he had acquired by chance, he hadn't had an opportunity to draw it yet. He wondered how he would compare to the Beast Masters who specialize in personal combat power development. Seeing that Su Ran was determined to challenge this ranking, the onlooking crowd was instantly excited. Some even directly contacted the Beast Masters associated with his martial arts hall, asking them to hurry over and watch. Ignoring the voices around him, Su Ran left his 3 little ones in front of the ranking list and strides toward the corresponding testing area. Test Venue C03. As a niche list, the C03 testing venue was empty. As Su Ran validated his identity and entered, soon enough, the doorway of the venue was packed with Beast Masters who had come to watch the excitement. As they stared at the closed door, they couldn't help but discuss among themselves. I see he's carrying a sword, is he good with it? I feel like his sword is quite old, it probably isn't simple. Why do I feel that his sword is almost rusted, like some scrap metal? Can this really be used as a weapon? Who knows, let's watch and see. SHHH. The faint sound of silk rubbing against the blade echoed in the silent test room. Su Ran gently removed the silk wrap from the blade circle by circle and tossed it at his feet, revealing the rusty long sword beneath the silk wrap. Although the long sword was rusty, there was a strangely intimidating aura hidden within it, causing anyone who saw this sword to feel a subtle palpitation. He held the hilt with both hands, pointed the blade diagonally upwards, and then looked at the energy being forming in front of him while slowly closing his eyes. A sharp wave of knife intent flowed around Su-ran, then silently merged into the long sword in his hand. The sword resonated with it, causing the blade hidden under the rust to subtly gleam, as though some force was being triggered. Chapter 316, 192, topping the list with one strike. One man and one blade, their auras gradually intertwining, the blade thrusting into the sky as if to pierce the heavens and the earth. Holding the long blade, Su-ran at this moment seemed like a drawn sword, waiting for his opponent to offer himself up. In the next moment, Su-ran suddenly opened his eyes, a sharp light bursting from his pupils as the long blade traced a beautiful arc in the air. The invisible blade momentum wrapped up the tangible airwave, splitting all the things it touched into two, coming down with an unstoppable force onto the transcendent being in front of him. The split energy body of the transcendent being shattered into countless specks of light. Su-ran sheathed his sword, picked up the silk cloth on the ground and wrapped the blade once again. At the same time he finished wrapping the blade, the test venue displayed his power status. Power 40,823. This power, Su-ran gazed at his test result and froze for a second, then chuckled. Rank 1 as long as there's a hand. Ding! A solid and powerful bell sound echoed in the Beast Master ranking area, causing everyone within its range to reveal a look of astonishment at this very moment. This was the sound of the Beast Master list changing rankings. Which list was it? For a moment, countless people looked around until their gaze finally fell on two closely placed, simultaneously glowing lists in the center of the field. On one of the lists, the light rapidly flashed. On the other list, a pillar of light shot up to the sky. Such a scene was all too familiar to the regular Beast Masters present. This was when someone simultaneously appeared in the current list and the historical list, causing a change in rankings. Increasingly more people gathered in that direction. The crowd that had been waiting in front of the list revealed a look of astonishment, because the change in rankings on the current list had already updated. Looking at the name that had suddenly appeared in the first place on the list, everyone was stunned. This power seems to have surpassed Hongtu. The weak voice of one person made everyone fall silent. The next moment, the ranking on the historical list changed. Hongtu, who had originally been in first place, was now officially a thing of the past and had fallen to second place. Wasn't someone going to contact someone from his martial arts hall just now? The voice of someone else in the crowd made the atmosphere in the field even more eerie. That guy who contacted his martial arts hall will probably get beaten up, right? Meow Tilda, we're going in soon too. Xian moved her paw, her eyes revealing an excited expression. The other two categories of the Beast Master list required the participation of a pet beast. Seeing Su-ran stealing all the glory, it could hardly hold back any longer. Xilu, it's time for me to shine. Star couldn't help but raise its head, letting out a roar. Compared to Xian, it was even more excited at this moment. As the support role in the team, although it had gained a lot of Beast Master points in the previous Pet Beast ranking, it hadn't found an opportunity to truly showcase its best ability. Team combat was the best arena for it to shine. Charming, let me handle the defense. Can let out a low roar, and a yellowish glow began to fill its body involuntarily. It was time to fight side by side with the senior beasts again. Just as the three little ones were fired up and ready to go, Su-ran's voice emerged in their minds. Come on over to testing area C01. Here it comes. The three little ones exchanged glances and then walked side by side towards testing area C01, where Su-ran was waiting for them after completing a round of testing. Seeing that Su-ran, who had just completed the test, didn't come over, but instead the three little ones who had been waiting in front of the list left the list and headed towards C01, the crowd of onlookers were initially stunned, then quickly reacted. Amid cheers and expectant gazes, they followed closely behind the three little ones, then watched as one man and three pets entered the testing area. Test Site C01 corresponds to the leadership level Beast Master overall power ranking. This list is known by many as the true test of a Beast Master's level of ability. Many of the Beast Masters who have achieved high rankings in the Pet Beast Team Power list don't actually rank that high on this list. Because when a Beast Master joins the fight, more unexpected situations will arise. The true strength of this rising Beast Master and his rank on this list will soon be revealed. So this is Test Site C01. Entering C01 with the three little ones, Su-ran looks at the vast world and the purple-black soil in front of him, and the wind carrying the scent of blood. His expression gradually becomes serious. He's very familiar with this scene. It's the scene that would appear outside the city, in the Beast Field. This oppressive feeling is even stronger than that outside Kingju City, because this is Xi'an City. This testing area simulates the Beast Field of Xi'an City. Much stronger than Beast Zone number 97, it's Beast Zone number 47. Charge! Su-ran doesn't hesitate and mounts up, drawing his sword. The long blade seems to sense the bloody scent in the air. A fine red light quietly flows on the rusty surface. The blade itself trembles faintly, emitting a clear sound, like a thirst for blood. Starlight flies out of nowhere, linking Su-ran's aura with the stars within an instant. As their aura fully merges, their majestic power dramatically soars. 3-star skill, full moon level faded star pulling. The next moment, 3 black patterns fly out from the body of the star, covering itself, Xi'an, and Kankan respectively. The intricate and star-like mysterious runes emit a quiet glow, as if they want to dye the surrounding daylight with the color of night. With the quiet light, the majesty of Xi'an and Kankan quickly increases within a single breath, swiftly surpassing the power of a leadership stage pet beast. 3-star skill, full moon level night rune. Roar! Kankan roars upwards and its body rapidly expands against the wind. On an endless wilderness, it transforms into a striking hillock. Its power dramatically increases again, with a land-yellow halo completely covering its body and giving it the boon of the earth. 3-star skill, full moon level Jizumitsu. 3-star skill, full moon level echoing of earth vein. Meow tilde. The colored pupils of Xi'an have contracted to their limit, reflecting the emerging beast shadows from the distance, as if to swallow them all. The sharp electricity shoots from every inch of its body, making it nearly elemental. Its 4 claws, full of dreadful power, become more sturdy and powerful, with each claw as sharp as a blade, brewing a horrific aura in them. 3-star skill, waning moon level martial arts specialization. As the strength of 1 man and 3 pets rises, their enemies finally reveal themselves completely. It's a boundless sea of countless beasts shrouded in dust. As a beast tide of a number you can't count, making one feel despair at a glance. And this beast tide is their next test challenge. Roar! Kankan's expression becomes serious. Its sharp front claws fiercely slam into the earth. As the land-yellow halo flows, numerous tremendously hard walls sprout from the ground, protecting 1 man and 3 pets within, quickly forming a fortress that is easy to defend but tough to attack. 3-star skill, waning moon level eternal iron wall. An invisible suppression, with Kankan's mountain-like body at its center, quickly covers a range of 1,000 kilometers in all 8 directions, completely covering the transcendent beings at the front of the beast tide. As the light and shadow of the dragon tortoise briefly appear, the covered transcendent beings are suddenly apprehended by dreadful suppression. Weaker ones can't even stand upright, yet their eyes are filled with anger and killing intent. The target of this anger and killing intent is Kankan, the one who has caused the suppression. Before defeating it, they won't see any other rivals in their eyes. 3-star skill, full moon level dragon turtle's power. The next moment, countless transcendent beings swarm them, overwhelming 1 man and 3 pets all at once. The battle begins. Chapter 317, 193 Problems of Foster Care Residents. Boom! Accompanied by a huge noise, an area enclosed in a sphere of thunderlight was added to the already severely damaged testing area. The terrifying sea of thunder instantly erupted and swallowed countless transcendental creatures. In the numerous electric arcs wandering in the sea of thunder, one could faintly see the struggling shadows of these transcendental creatures. Large numbers of transcendental creatures completely shattered under the powerful force of Xi'an, turning into light points scattered all over the sky. Xi'an's own power had also become somewhat intangible due to the continuous and intense battle. The power of the fighting attribute had already dissipated due to the backlash of the Scarlet battle intent. Now it could only use the power of the Thunder attribute, which was also nearly exhausted. Behind it, Kankan, who was responsible for defense, and Star, responsible for power enhancement, also showed signs of fatigue. The fortress made from the eternal iron wall had collapsed and been repaired countless times under the siege of countless transcendental creatures. Star's Night Rune had also been bestowed upon Xi'an countless times, helping it withstand the enemy's attacks. Although there were skills for recovery, the overall condition of their power was much better than Zeon's. However, they were still extremely fatigued from constantly being on high alert during the battle. Looking at the beast tide, which showed no intention of retreating, a touch of fear emerged in the hearts of the three pet beasts and their master. They were like an isolated island in the raging waves. Even though they still had the strength to counterattack at this moment, they would soon be completely swallowed by the surging huge waves. "Let's stop here," Su-ran said softly. It was their first attempt to challenge the Beast Master overall power ranking, mainly as a trial. The strength they had displayed now was enough. As Su-ran's words fell, the beast tide froze as if paused, silently fixed in place. Then, countless transcendental creatures turned into numerous lights in the sky and vanished. The test ended. After a moment's pause, their final score for this round appeared in front of the three little ones and their master. Overall power, 329,451. Is it this high? Su-ran looked at the score for a while, then suddenly smiled. "Let's go, let's see what our current ranking is." Ding! A low bell rang, resonating for a long time in the beast trainer ranking area. As soon as Su-ran and the three little ones entered the C01 testing area, the excited and anticipatory cheers of the onlookers who had surrounded the current leadership-level Beast Master overall power ranking board emerged. They were watching the lighted-up ranking list. For a moment, there was an upsurge of voices, nearly turning over the dome of the Beast Trainer ranking pavilion. Even under such crowded conditions, there was still a small open space left at the front of the ranking list. Three figures stood in that open space. One of them was a man with long black hair and a cross scar on his face. The man had his arms crossed, showing no emotion, and there was no pet beast accompanying him. Just standing there, he gave off the ferocious aura of a wild beast. Even amid the cheering and attention focused on the changes in the ranking list, many people still turned their eyes towards him, attentive to his reaction. Because this man, named He Junlong, was also on the current ranking list and his rank was not low. He was ranked 9th. Moreover, he had another identity. He was the biological grandson of He Hongtu, the next head of He's martial arts hall. Yes, it was He Hongtu, who had just been pushed down from the first place in the historical rankings by Su-ran. Standing beside He Junlong was a middle-aged man with a short stature and a harmless look to both humans and animals. His bald head reflected a bit of light under the illuminating lights, and wearing glasses gave him somewhat the feel of a corporate worker. However, this unremarkable man standing in the crowd commanded the respect of everyone present, because his current ranking on the list was even higher than that of He Junlong's. The current leadership-level Beast Master overall power ranking 5th rank holder, Li Dajin. Ordinary name, ordinary appearance, but this high-ranking position was enough to prove that all ordinary things were merely illusions to him. The last of the three was a woman. She wore her hair in a high ponytail, and there was a slight arrogance in her phoenix eyes. She was the only beast master among the three who had summoned her pet beast. A long snake pet beast, as thick as a water barrel and covered with colorful scales, constantly spit out signals, deterring people from approaching. Snake Woman Kai Han, currently ranked 4th in the leadership-level Beast Master overall power ranking. The three were all currently ranked in the top 10, so they naturally knew each other. Apart from He Junlong, who came upon hearing the news, the other two happened to be in this place. This mysterious Beast Master has certainly stirred up quite a storm in the past few days. Li Dajin pushed his glasses, which were reflecting the lights, revealing a warm smile. Several current first-place ranks have been taken by his pet beast. I heard this Beast Master is only in his 20s or 30s, a true young hero tilde. If those who were unfamiliar with Li Dajin heard his words, they would probably think this was pure admiration. However, Kai Han and He Junlong, who were aware of his situation, simultaneously flashed a strange look in their eyes. When Li Dajin started praising someone, it was rarely a good sign. "Oh right, I heard that he even took the first place in the personal power ranking." Li Dajin turned to look at He Junlong and began to speak with a chuckle.